Oh, would you look at that? It's actually showing up. First try this time. Whoa, I don't know how that happened. Well, it's certainly been a week. Oh boy. I really don't know where to even start with all this stuff going on. But yeah, I don't. What's up, buddy? The second I decide to actually start doing something, you get up here. But anyway, I have some things to say about it. By the way, this is the look I decided on. Kind of a almost kind of like a fusion between Callus and Zerg. And also, this is the ship. I noticed that the Goes the Deep weapon shader makes this thing look a lot like a Buzz Lightyear ship. So I thought, I could commit to this bit. I think it turned out pretty okay. But yeah. The plan for today is I'm going to read every book from the Tales of the Forgotten Volume 3. I wanted to do this 2 or even 3 days ago, but that just did not work out. I want to at least start by reading this lore tab, because I didn't realize until like 30 minutes ago that it had one. Then I'm gonna read, and my plan is, I'm gonna read the first 3 books of it, because I believe there are 33 different pages. I'm gonna do that after this. Then I'm gonna go into Lost Sector, or Haunted Sector, and I'm gonna get an engram. Or at the very least, the plan is, I want to get an eerie engram to drop, period, and then read 3 more books. That way, there's a little bit of back and forth, and I'm not doing the same thing the whole way through. At least, or at the very least, there's some sort of order to everything. I just think that would probably be the best. That way, I can devote some time to actually reading, and then some time to actually talking about something else. But yeah, that's how I think I want to do this. How may we endure the desolation of the Absolute? The noise of the bazaar was a background hum, the seemingly electric energy pulsating all around Sloane as she wandered among the Festival of the Lost vendors. A human sold delicate pottery beside Elixni weavers showcasing their intricate fabrics. There were platters of stuffed figs and mugs of ether fizz. A brackus tended a flame below a spit. The charring meat sizzled with each turn, and war beasts slapped at the fat that trickled to the ground. 2 awoken corsairs shared a roasted artichoke, both warming their fingers on the cold, blistering petals. Human and Elixir children darted past, their laughter and chittering carrying on the wind. Everything here struck Sloane's senses as ruefully foreign and strangely dissonant. She'd missed so much. Her grief caught in her throat as the spiny shell of a hive ghost glided into view, and Sloane felt her jaw drop. She mentally noted even more questions for Zavala. So, now, I didn't even think about the whole thing with Savathun's ghost showing up, and her reaction to that. Rainpur's drunken noodle caught her eye up ahead, the sign blissfully familiar, and she sighed with relief for a moment. Aisha and Shayura waved her over to a table. "You made it," Shayura said, affection laced in the edge of her voice. "I'm glad you're here too," Sloane said. "Both of you." Aisha handed a steaming bowl to Sloane and put another in front of an empty chair. Aisha's gaze followed Sloane's. "Reed will always have a seat at our table," Aisha said. Shayura nodded and offered a supportive but strained smile, and Aisha slurred a little bit, gave her hand a reassuring squeeze. Okay. Sloane looked down again at the bowl in front of her. Swirls of noodles and slices of meat soaked in the creamy broth, and the egg's golden yolk pooled around the bok choy settled beside it. She stared at her meal as if to commit every noodle to memory. "Were you planning on eating it or painting it?" a voice teased from behind. Sloane turned to see Zavala standing beside her. A small laugh escaped from her lips. I've been waiting, wanting for this for so long. Now that I have it, I almost don't want this moment to end. "We know how you feel," Aisha said. "However, there's good news," Zavala quipped. "What's that?" "You can savor the next bowl, too." Sloane grinned and lifted the first noodles to her lips. She savored the umami flavors, surprised by the complexity. "How is it?" he asked. "It's different, but still good." A look of understanding passed between them, and Zavala gave her a reassuring smile. It's nice that they finally got to go and get some ramen together. Man, that's still hitting me a little bit that one particular line was the last thing that Zavala, Lance delivered as Zavala. It's such a mundane topic to have possibly been the last thing he could have ever said, but I don't know what it is, but now it feels like that's gonna... It's interesting that it's the last thing to think about as Zavala. I'll say that. Yes, there are 33, so that's really good math. Yeah, the plan is to get an inventory full of eerie engrams, essentially, then finish the book, and then turn in my engrams, and hopefully maybe one of them has at least one of them has a memento in it. It's the best thing I can hope for, that's for sure. I don't know what this is. Got a little something on you. Sorry, I'm not trying to poke at your eye. I'm not trying to hurt you. There we go. Not sure what that was. I'm gonna let us out. Anyway, let's begin this very long lore book. Tales of the Forgotten Volume 3, Chapter 1. The Tower Bazaar was beginning to wake with activity, as Ida sighed and placed her datapad on the table in front of Crow's ghost. Gwent, this research on the Hall Between has me thinking about stories. The ones that evoke fear. The scary ones, as you've said. Like the ones about the drowned captain, Gwent asked. Exactly, she said. My father told me not so long ago that odes are for hatchlings, but throughout our research on the Hull Between and the Headless Ones, I've discovered that people of all ages and backgrounds enjoy these tales of dread, regardless of the academic merit or accuracy. So I'd like to make something similar for people to enjoy. I want to try writing my own. That's a wonderful idea. What will you write first? Well, I'm not exactly sure. I need some inspiration. Oh, I'd love to help. Now, the first thing to know about scary stories is that sometimes nothing is as scary as the truth. Okay. Chapter 2. The room Eris had stuck Amaru in was minuscule. There were no windows to watch the hours and days pass by, no electronics to hack, just containers of decommissioned armor stacked against the far wall, and one small empty crate in the middle of the room, adorned with a handwritten sign that simply said, "You," and an arrow pointing menacingly downward. It was placed there as a warning after he was caught lurking around the more sensitive areas of the tower. Okay, so they did finally catch on to that, good. Ikora had confiscated his shaded shell disguise and placed a hidden agent somewhere outside to report on his every move. She did, however, leave some blank crossword pages for him. Get screwed, buddy. Amaru stared at the crate, emitting a low-pitched growl as a lone sweeper bot entered, surprising the ghost. He circled, then scanned his random and unexpected visitor. It was standard issue, nothing special. Amaru was disappointed. I still can't believe Savathun would do this to me, Amaru said to the bot as he flew directly into his face. The nerve of it all, leaving me here as collateral. And then to ask for information? He watched the bot shuffle away and broom the open crate. Then again, who says I have to share everything? Amaru swooped around, quickly hacking into the sweeperbot systems. Grab an empty kit bag from over there. Should be just the right size if I remove a little weight. As the bot complied, Amaru chuckled, shedding his standard hive shell. Right. Time for a jailbreak. You little shit. Chapter 3. After a few arduous attempts and one superbly acted sob story told to an incredibly gullible ghost, Amaru eventually sauntered off in a new constricting shell. Constricting shell? Hold on, which one? Alright, I'll look into that after this, I think. In his latest disguise, he skulked through halls and hangars and workshops, scanning everything and anything he could find on his way to the courtyard. There, he hovered among the gnarled branches of a giant tree, nearly invisible among the colorful lanterns adorning it. He watched guardians meditate among candles, the flames flickering in the breeze. Others, dressed as insects and arachnids, gleefully danced or bobbed for apples. The revelry flanked by a pair of guardians galloping by the coconut shells. Yep, I know that emote. Amid the flurry of costumes and Max, his gaze finally settled on people sharing small, wrapped objects. Amaru gingerly floated closer to the base of the tree to get a better look. Hey, move along, pal. I saw that candy first, a voice sneered from behind him. Oh, I wonder who that could be. We'll find out in a moment. Now, I think I know what shell that might actually be. Let me take a look at that. If I'm correct, I think that is the Hunter's shell from Guardian games, which I do actually have, I just forget what season it's from. Of course, I could just be wrong about that too. What season did that one come out in? Oh, no, it's not. I will have to look that up later then. By the way, I was correct. The shaded shell is exactly what I thought it was. It was the one with the sunglasses with the one visor. It literally just doesn't show up in collections unless you have it, which is, I hate that. Because then it makes what I'm doing right now almost pointless. Yeah, I can't... This time I can't imagine what the constricting shell is. It's just not familiar enough to me. And again, it might be another one that I just don't actually have. But anyway, let's see if this has changed yet. Alright, so, like I said, my plan is to actually get an engram. I'm not necessarily gonna do legends all night. Especially if it's a legend lost haunted sector that I don't actually care for that much, or think is will take a little bit too long to do. At least this isn't the Europa one. I don't know what it is about the one on Europa, but the legend version of that one is really, really annoying. It's just hard to get anything done, and hard to get your rhythm back if you ever start dying. But we'll see how it goes.
Glint hypothesized that the Headless Ones were a product of Hive necromancy.
Oh, they're very strong.
There's no evidence of Hive in this sector.
I did a lot of haunted sectors on normal. Oh my goodness, that guy's dead already. I did a lot of haunted sectors with JD the other day, and we didn't do legend. We were doing normal the whole way, and everything was melting. Of course, that's to be expected.
The Lixney legends say that after the Guardian defeated Faison
Yeah,
of House
if I end
Dusk,
up thinking
the captain was
it's gonna take too long to actually get anything done on Legend, the only reason I'm wanting to do Legend at all is the fact that you're guaranteed an engram at the end, which would make this technically shorter than... Oh wow, I'm already dead.
Not a single one of them has a flaming...
Oh, I don't want this to be the whole stream.
These must be the Headless Ones. Very clever disguises.
Yeah, I'm starting to think I don't want this to be the stream. I'll wait and... I'll finish this one for sure to get the engram drop I want, but I think after this I'm just gonna do normals. And just hope RNG is on my side. There's just one thing. I mean... I don't know, maybe I'll go back and forth. Depending on how long this takes, because I know surely this will change again soon. He teleported. My own gun for a second. Oh my goodness. Such a stark difference between... Yeah, I can't focus on talking about anything else because I'm having to focus on this. Like, everybody's dead. Nobody can do anything. This just isn't gonna work. I'm okay with doing lost sectors, but I'm not okay with everybody being dead all the time. Oh yeah, this one's a wash. At least the completion is all you need to get the engram, not like a certain amount of kills or anything. That would be awful. That would be way worse. Is he gonna get up? He's been over there a while. I can't see. Stop shooting me. Oh my goodness. He's not gonna revive himself. He's just gonna sit there. Man, that sucks. Oh, he's dead now too. I'm just gonna do this now, I don't care. Okay. Got ourselves some breathing room finally. there. That's what we like to see. That's our second kill. Oh my goodness. One of these bounties I've got requires me to get finisher, so I may as well just try to do them when I can. Oh, that's another thing that I was gonna try and do, is try to do as many bounties as I could. I made a mistake buying all the other things with Bright Dust that I did, because now I'm so far away from getting the dust I need for the armor that I might actually just not end up getting it. And I would have to do a bunch of other things to get enough to get close. Might end up just waiting till next year, if there even is a next year. That's entirely possible, but I don't know. Just a big problem over in Bungie Studio right now. Nobody knows if this game has a future after Final Shape. Huge mass layoff happened. Morale is at an all-time low, just around the board. And I don't have a champ stun for that guy. Oh, the timer's out.
Also tell of the Headless Ones. Their tales say the monsters are cursed by the shame of defeat.
You gotta hand it to the Cabal. They got one-track minds. Everything comes back to honor, victory, and the size of their tusks.
I'm really glad he's not looking at me right this second. You get up. Oh. I don't know who's worse on Legend, this guy or the Hydra that's inside the Europa Lost sector, because at least this guy will stand his ground and actually take damage.
I don't know what that circle summons, but let's find
That
out.
other guy is very annoying to fight. He just teleports way too much. You can't do anything to him. Oof. Yeah, I think after this I'm definitely gonna do a normal Lost Sector after this. Maybe, let's see, I'm trying to think what the best way of going about it would be. Maybe do a normal one, and then if I don't get an engram, do a legend, or just commit to... Why do you get to just stand there and do that? We're all dead again. I'm not... Alright, I got it. I'm not going back into Legend unless this Lost Sector changes. Because this is annoying. Is your shield off? Okay, good. Stay right there. Don't rest. Oh, I think... Oh, he's AFK. No wonder. Yeah, he's dumb. He's... he's AFK farming. Wait a minute. Oh, I could... He's just off screen. Don't get him. He's AFK. No. Man, this is awful to watch. Okay. Alright. He's still there. He's still there. I'm picking you up. The other guy can stay down. I can't do anything, man. It's so hard when you can't communicate. Yeah, the time sink in Legend is probably not worth it. Okay. Why do you get to stand there? Why do you get to stand there right next to me? That's not fair. Oh, okay. Well, anyway. Just focusing, staying alive. Fine. That's this. They have so much health on Legend. Goodness gracious. How is he there? Did the third guy finally... I don't think the other guy's here anymore. I don't see him. That was close. That was close. These actually do a pretty decent amount of damage on their own. Oh, yes. Show me that. Show me your jetpack. Get this over with. Whew. Okay, we turned it around there at the end.
The ones are neither Elixir nor Cabal. I'm beginning to suspect that they're human in origin.
Well, there's the
Hell,
engram
that
at
wouldn't
least.
surprise me. Humans love making things with giant, creepy heads. Just look at Clovis Bray.
Got him.
Matter of fact, wearing new faces used to be a big part of this ancient human ritual.
The Hall Between.
Oh, I'm actually gonna... I don't usually make a habit of doing this, but today specifically, I'm going to delete any engram that is not of the eerie variety, and he's gone, so there's no point in staying. Yeah, I don't know what the other guy was doing. I wish he had helped. But yeah, got another engram. Or got our first engram. So why don't we take a look at some more lore. Chapter 4. I called dibs on that candy. Don't make me say it again. Imaru turned to see another ghost as she made a beeline for the candy on the ground beneath him. You? What are you wearing? You dipped your shell in human food? Imaru spat. She's wearing the candy apple shell. The other ghost sighed. It's a caramel apple shell, you dolt. If you knew anything, you'd recognize how special it is. Looks sticky. It's a delicacy. Note the elegant ornamentation of crushed toffee bits, she said and spun around. If you haven't lost your self-respect yet, allow me to lose it on your behalf. He shot back. Her iris narrowed as she fixated on Imaru's shell. I'm surprised your guardian didn't dress you up like a lemon, she scoffed. I ain't got no guardian, Imaru sniffed. The other ghost bobbed toward him. Wait, you unpartnered too? I knew there were more of us out. Happy Festival of the Lost, friends. The toffee-covered ghost transmatted away the second she heard Gwent's voice. Unfazed, Gwent approached the snake-covered ghost, determined to meet a new friend. Hello, stranger. You enjoying the festival? Gwent asked. Get lost, Imaru snarled, and Gwent jumped back in surprise. Imaru? You be quiet, will ya? I'm, trying to enjoy the festival. Incognito. Imara whispered. Gwent quietly stared back for a moment. You broke out of Eris's crate, huh? He said. I was in a room, not a crate, Imara replied tersely. I wasn't waiting to be let out again on good behavior. I'm my own ghost. Then you should join me and Ido. No. But we're collecting inspiration for scary stories, starting with our research on the Headless Ones in the Hall Between. Headless what? Headless Ones, Gwent chirped. Giant pumpkin-headed enemies that the Guardians have been fighting? They're mysterious monsters filled with candy. Fighting the Guardians, hmm? In that case, I'd love to hear what your little fallen friend has to say about them. Oh boy. So this is how he got into the whole festival thing. Ido sat in the tower's bazaar beneath the afternoon sun, comfortably situated at a table with a full pot of tea. She gazed intently into her cup. Her research and data spread out around her. Ido? Imaru is going to... Ido? Where are you? Staring at your tea instead of writing? Gwent peered at her in confusion. Imaru in tow. I was going to write, but then I discovered the art of tasseomancy while following an old research lead, she said, her eyes never leaving her cup. Apparently it's a method of discerning things yet to come by assessing patterns within the leaves and sediment. I thought it might help. I was looking for monsters, not tea, Imara growled. Gwent peeked over Ido's shoulders, then watched the leaves move in her drink. Ido squinted her 4 eyes. This pattern looks like Commander Zavala. Knitting with Empress Kydal, Gwent exclaimed. Ido watched as the leaves swirled around in the tea of the shape of a ragged claw, and a sharp chill suddenly settled deep within her. No, it's Finch. With a lucent knight. No, a hunter. No, wait. He's hugging Savathun, Gwent called out again. Why did I think for 1 second this was going to be worth my while, Imara muttered, and left. Yeah, I didn't expect a tea reading to happen, that's for sure. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Ooh, I'm gonna be hoarse later. No. Wait, still says EDZ. I'm going into the normal lost sector and just gonna hope for the best on this one. Maybe then I can actually focus on literally anything else instead of just being dead all the time. Yeah, all these layoffs at Bungie, it's really not a good look. I just feel... I actually don't know who I feel worse for in this situation, because on one hand, a bunch of people got fired that probably weren't expecting to be fired for literally any reason. At a with not even a moment's notice, it sounds like. On the other hand, the people that are still there, they're actually trying to make this game be the best version of itself. Just trying to pick up the pieces now, and because so many, they got hit so hard, Final Shape's delayed for... What was the original release date? February? End of February? So, June, that's a 3-month delay.
Part of what drove the miners mad was a terrible,
incurable
insomnia. I've never slept
I know it's coping.
Really so good that you turn homicidal without it?
But every time I see, oh, it's delayed until June, and there's a 7-month season coming ahead, it makes it sound like, well, the game's been delayed for 7 months. That's...
Let's investigate those mysterious
not,
ritual circles.
You know, I actually hadn't thought of it that way yet. It is kind of like, oh, we are... The game is technically only delayed for 4 months. So that's at least a better way to think about it, but I'll at least admit, 7-month season coming up. definitely is going to put interest at an all-time low for a while. That I have no idea what is supposed to be coming next season. I just hope it's good enough that people will be interested enough to actually do stuff, to actually be interested and play it. I personally, like, here's my, like, weird stance on this, is that I'm not one of those people that plays Destiny every single day. I haven't in a while, not because I'm not interested, it's just because I like to keep my sanity in check. And as far as content, or, you know, at least making videos of this, I'm not in the situation where this channel is dedicated solely to Destiny. I know right now it feels like it is, because that's kind of been mostly all I've been doing lately, aside from maybe doing Dead Space or Kingdom Hearts. Right now, this is the only thing I'm doing, but at least I'm not in the situation where this is... My YouTube channel's not a Destiny channel by any means. It's just that this is what I'm happen to be doing in the moment right now. So I'm not hard pressed to be like, oh, I have to stop playing Destiny because interest is about to go down a lot, and if interest is going down, then a lot of people aren't going to watch, so why should I invest my time in it? Yeah, I'm not in that situation. I can just do whatever I want. I don't make money on any of this anyway. Just doing it because I want to. I will tell you what is frustrating though. Right now, it's like a little bit of a peek behind the curtain here. Like, I've wanted to do Destiny content on my channel for a long time, believe it or not. The problem I've had was just having to deal with the amount of time, like, editing stuff. Like, I only just recently got the equipment I needed to actually stream. Like, I finally committed to getting a camera and having a PS5 that could actually run it at a good quality, and also just really good internet. My big thing about editing for a long time has been just don't have the time to sit down and edit videos.
Summoning circles probably comes from
and haven't in a long time.
Find them and take them down, Guardian, before we end up with pumpkin heads ourselves.
I saw streaming as a easy way to actually put some stuff out there and actually still have time to do stuff later, like as opposed to recording a video and then editing it and then uploading it, which takes a lot longer to do. Something I haven't really committed to doing any of in a while. Oh, I don't know why I ran away from it. That isn't to say I'm done doing that, it's just that right now it's not a good idea for me to invest my time in that. That's all I'm trying to say. Oh wait, I'm not even at the important part of this yet. I've been wanting to do Destiny stuff on the channel for a while. Just never been able to, I guess is the right way to say it. And what made me finally commit to doing Destiny was we got to Season the Seraph, it came out, and I have a very distinct memory of my own personal reaction to the
Great
final
work,
mission
Guardian.
in
Our
Season
victory
of
over the
Sarah.
Hive will stop the spread of their
I had a
magic.
very
For
strong
now.
reaction
But
to that
something tells me
cutscene,
there's more to the Headless Ones than just Hive sorcery.
and just
Better
like the
keep
mission in
researching,
general.
just
Oh,
in
nice
case.
Engram. And I thought to myself, man, I can't share that moment with anybody. No one will ever see my reaction to it. Not to say... Like, it does sound like a selfish way of putting it, but it's like, if I had been recording, at the very least, somebody would have seen my real reaction in real time to that moment, and that will never happen again. I guess that's all I'm trying to say is, a moment was missed, and it's a moment that I'll never be able to get back. And I was like, well, if this is what it's going to be like going forward, then maybe now's the time to do it. Maybe now's the time to pull the trigger. I'm gonna stream Lightfall in all of its seasons, and I'm still committed to doing that. I'm gonna see it through the end, and I'm definitely going to play Final Shape. The same. It's just the problem is that it feels kind of bad that the year I finally decide to commit to doing this is the year that it feels like it's the worst it's ever been. Like Lightfall, while it sold well enough, and the player count was at a all-time high for a little bit, it didn't help that it wasn't received very well. And it just kind of tanked in a lot of ways because of it. And I'll be perfectly honest, aside from Amanda Holiday dying in Season of Defiance, Season of Defiance was very forgettable to me. Like, it didn't hit very hard. Otherwise, I mean, there were some cool things in it. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, that is the first season I've ever played in this game and thought this was made to fill time. Because it's pretty common knowledge that Lightfall was going to be the final expansion, but then they announced the Final Shape was coming out after that as a second expansion, so it's very widely believed that the two expansions were cut in half, or the one expansion was cut in half into two different ones. So yeah, I absolutely believe... I need a drink. I absolutely believe that Defiance was made just to fill time. The other ones, not so sure about, but at least I like them more than the first one, I guess. But yeah, right now, I'm just thinking, I'm not the kind of person that can see something unfinished, especially if it's something I feel personally invested in. So I'm in this until Final Shape and I'm not going to say just yet that I'm committed to everything past Final Shape, but I do want to see what they've got in mind. And if it happens to be that things are so bad that it just stops existing after the third episode of Final Shape that comes out afterward during that next year, then so be it. But at least, the very least, I'll have seen the ending of it, if that makes sense. Now, if final shape is amazing, then great. It still sucks, though, that all those people are gone. Especially Michael Salvatore. You know what? I'm gonna rant about Michael Salvatore here in a moment. I need to read this. Forget the tea, Gwent said. I've got something better. He transmitted a set of objects onto the table, and Ido gasped. Her heartbeat quickened. The deck of whispers. You stole Eris's cards? Borrowed, he corrected, twirling around the table to face her. Gwent, what? I left a note. Ido shivered as she conjured the image of a high-vaulted Eris in her mind. It's too dangerous, she quickly pushed the cards away, but Gwent nudged them back. I heard that Eris consulted the deck to gain information to make decisions. I thought we could use it to inspire your writing. Let's just try, Gwent begged. How hard could it be? Ido sighed and picked up the cards, shuffling them with her forehands in the flamboyant style the Drifter taught her. How many cards, she asked. Try 3, Gwent said. And when I watched Eris, she said she had to ask the cards a question. Ido thought for a moment. What kind of danger would be threatening enough for a scary story? Ido cut the deck in half, and she felt a surge of energy as she selected the first card. The Harbinger. Wait, I've got a better one. What kind of dangerous situation could be happening right now? Gwent exclaimed. Gwent, I don't think we need to write based on a true story, right? This is exactly how we do it. Ido closed her eyes, feeling energy surge again in her hands, and continued. The lie. 3 of Worms. She opened her eyes and studied the cards. Eris can be, well, intimidating, she admitted, pointing to the Harbinger card. No, the cards aren't literal. It's a metaphor, Gwent said. The Harbinger and the lie. That means the spirits of the dead are lost like leaves on the wind, and wandering the earth. Gwent gasped. But the lie is upside down. That wouldn't make sense. It's right side up to me. Because you're on the opposite side of the table. It's my reading, remember? Oh yeah. He quickly changed position. Then they aren't lost. They have purpose. They seek revenge against the living. But changing us into headless ones with paracausal worm power. Ah! Ido pondered the cards. Actually, I was thinking that solitude and being isolated can evoke terror in both humans and Elixni. Perhaps my scary story could include that. Gwent shrugged his shell. Not bad. I still like mine better. Maybe try it again? Ido nodded and swept up the cards to shuffle once more. But, I couldn't see my cursor for a second there. The colors of dusk were already painted on the sky. I think I can just use the arrows to change these. I should remember that. The colors of dusk were already painted in the sky beyond the last city by the time Gwent approached Crow, stationed on the outskirts of the tower. Crow, you'll never believe what happened today. Ido and I were talking. I mean, we talk a lot, but today about the Headless Ones. And then she got the idea to write a scary story. And then Ido was going to write, but then she didn't. I mean, she did, but first, tea. It didn't help. So then I borrowed Eris's deck of whispers. The cards are incredible. No wonder Eris. Gwent stopped and saw Crow's gaze following a squadron's contrails on the far-off distance. The ghost floated up and nudged Crow's cheek. The hunter jumped in, startled surprise. Gwent, I didn't see you there. Did you say something? Crow asked. Just that I'm here, if you want to talk. Gwent leaned against his guardian's shoulder, and Crow reached up to touch the little ghost shell. Let's see. Okay, yes, I can use the arrows. Imaru materialized again in the corner of the courtyard, not far from the bust of Cade 6. He continued his studies, watching guardians obediently crawl around a human with more candy. Lots of candy, in fact. Her laughter pealed like mesmerizing bells as she bestowed her confections, the guardians seeming to respond to her every command. Subjugation by sucrose, Imaru thought to himself, much less messy than the hive way. Thought I wouldn't give it a try. Thought I wouldn't give to try it out myself. He chuckled out loud at the thought. An oblivious Titan stopped directly in front of him, adjusting his giant chicken mask with one hand while creating a mound of confections in the other. Macaque! A chicken charged the Titan. He gasped and quickly dropped his Wow, I'm losing it. He gasped and quickly dropped his bounty of candy in front of the ironwood tree, hands outstretched in a semblance of surrender. The chicken feverishly flapped her wings and mercilessly pecked his fingers. Colonel, it's me! It's me! The Titan cried out in agony, trying to yank his mask loose. I'm not a chicken! Mask wedged askew, the Titan ran and frantically barreled straight through Amaru. The ghost slammed into Colonel with a solid thud. Peacock! The chicken focused her rage on Amaru and snapped at his shell. She found purchase on the silver snake decoration and clamped down. Let go! Amaru yelled, and wishing he had his hive shell to swat the bird away. He sped through the courtyard toward the hangar, but Colonel had the strength of a Titan, the finesse of the hunter, and the cunning of a warlock, and held on the whole way. What is this lore book turning into? Where is this lore book going? Let's see. No, it still hasn't changed yet. Shame. But yeah, as positive as I am trying to be about the situation regarding Bungie's studios and inner workings, the only part that really gets me is the fact that they decided, it reeks so much. Like, how do you fire Michael Salvatore and then follow up with the right people stayed? Like, I just don't understand. I mean, sure, there must be some internal choice-making, PR, financial decision that was made that makes that decision make sense. But at the same time, you fired Michael Salvatore and then expected everyone to react
after the anomaly was discovered.
Like,
miners began reporting strange
maybe not
creatures
react
roaming the
positively,
area. Most people think they were hallucinations,
but
some
at the
think
very
they were
least not
the
react
headless ones.
badly, I guess. Like, I don't think Michael Salvatore has ever made a bad track. Or any of the composers. I know he's not the only composer that got fired. The other Michael Seacrest, also got axed, unfortunately.
I've never slept before.
And none of this, really so none of what I'm saying is like, well, any person doing this is like any more or less important than the other. But it really does feel like a lot. Like, the biggest reason that some of this is being taken so poorly is the fact that that specific name was on that list of people that got fired. Like, he consistently makes good music. We all know this. He's been around since Halo. That man made the Halo Reach soundtrack. What are you doing getting rid of him? That just doesn't make sense. Just from an outside perspective looking in, that just doesn't make sense to get rid of someone with that much talent for making music. And I'm ranting so much I forgot what the point of me saying this was. It's just frustrating. Oh, I got it. I'm not... Like, there's one thing in Destiny that is there's one constant in Destiny, and it's that the music is always good, regardless whether or not the expansion that it comes out in is good or not. Like, regardless of what anyone thinks of Lightfall, it's still got a good soundtrack too. I unironically will listen to some of those tracks just whenever I'm not doing anything in particular, or just have them, like, sometimes I'll just listen to Destiny soundtracks in the car. If I'm out and about doing stuff, by myself. I'm like, yeah, this is a bop. I can listen to Ready to Roll, or I can't think of the name right at this second, but it's that one track that plays in the defense mission at the during the final mission of Lightfall, where you're outside with Keitel and her boys. That one's great. Probably one of the best ones in the whole lot. Whether you care about how good or bad that story was, you can't deny that the heroic version of Cabal Stomp is incredible. That Cabal Stomp has had many renditions over the years, and that was kind of a full circle moment to hear that. I don't think it's, as much as it sucks to say, well, it doesn't necessarily suck to say it, but Keitel and Callus were definitely the best part of that expansion. If she had not shown up, that expansion would have been way worse, I think. Obviously, it still could have been done a little bit better, but maybe I'm the only one that thinks it, but I think Callus got the ending he deserved at the very least. I feel like that part, at the very least, was done well. Just everything else that comes down to a matter of, well, was that good or not? Most would probably say no. Even I would probably say that a lot of things could have been done better. All in all, at the end of the day, firing Michael, not a good idea. I know that those two weren't the only composers on the team, so it's not like, I don't think that we're out yet. I don't know how far the other three composers' input have.
Hidden reports indicate a strong.
I'm trying to think on the fly, and it's just making me mix everything up in my head. It's so bad.
Understood. Seek out and destroy their leader before
I don't know how far or what their full involvement into composing the other three people on the composition team are, because I know there were 5 of them for the longest time. So, to my knowledge, those other 3 people are still there, and they're still going to be making music from now on. My only thing is, I wish I knew for certain what their total contributions across all the soundtracks were, because I don't know if they're going to hire any new people for music, or if they're just gonna keep the same 3 guys and hope for the best and just let them lead on, because I think it's fair to say that the music is all done at this point. So we're gonna hear Michael Salvatore's music. No doubt about it. And I also have no doubt in my mind that music is going to be great. This is the only time where I've actually had legitimate concern that new music after the fact
But something tells me
may not
there's
be as
more to the
good.
headless ones than just hive sorcery. We better keep researching
I
just in case.
It's not to say I have no confidence, it's just that my confidence is extremely low. I don't even know what to say on the matter anymore. I've said a lot of these things already to, like, JD and Dylan within the last week. So at this point, all I'm doing is repeating myself. But yeah, okay. Okay, I like his transmog a lot. I just don't know what to say that I haven't said already. I just feel it's not. Oh, did one of them leave? You gonna, sir? Are you going to? Okay, I'm just gonna pull up. It's just all these things are definitely worth mentioning. Yeah, Lightfall did feel like a placeholder in a lot of aspects, that's for sure. Yeah, I finally saw that comment. I just don't. Like on that side of things, I do like, despite what the Veil Containment lore represents, and what the Season of the Deep represents, I still am why and how those things came into creation and how they are presented. I still like what's in that stuff. I'm not necessarily saying it's worth seeing them presented in the way they were, but what I am saying is I liked those things. I don't think writing necessarily is the problem. It's just down to how they're showing it off and the way they're presenting it is the biggest problem. I don't know. What I know is I'm still interested and I want to show and I want to see. This is hard to say. I'm still interested in the story that they are trying to present, even if they may not necessarily always present it well, I guess. Obviously, I wish that presentation could be better sometimes. Oh boy, that final cutscene in Season of the Witch definitely is a testament to how different they need to do some things. And we still need to see the resolution to that stuff from the end of Season of the Witch, too. And I was going to bring this up, but forgot. I checked the helm before I started. There is no radio transmission in. That still is not in the game yet, so I don't know I don't know if that means there's going to be a huge significance to it or not. It might, because some final transmissions from previous seasons have led into future seasons before, so maybe this one will do something similar. I don't know. It is still weird to me to think that the next season is technically the final season, as it were. After that, it's going to be about episodes. But anyway, I digress. Let's read some more lore. Chapter 10. Anna Bray passed through the courtyard. Man, that's gotta be a record. Her mechanical dog at her heels. Happy Festival of the Lost, Eva. Oh, Anna dear. Eva called back and held out a small package. I thought Archie deserved to celebrate the festival in style with his own costume this year. Anna gasped softly with delight as she unfurled a tiny cloak. Look at you, Archie. I always knew you were a hunter at heart. She bent to secure the cloak just as a ghost came zipping in from the direction of the hangar. A rage-filled chicken hanging off his shell. Archie's cloak flapped over the ghost's eye. Unable to see, the ghost skipped and skidded all along the floor of the courtyard, landing in the abandoned pile of candy beneath the ironwood tree. Colonel's beak shook loose on impact. She expertly bobbed and weaved around the candy, her pecking focus on the ghost's eye. Mechanical barks sounded, and among the candy wrappers, Amaro saw a flurry of feathers fly past. Eventually, the squawking faded into the distance. Amaro sat motionless until he felt the dog's nose nuzzle softly against him. Only then did the flustered ghost emerge from hiding. Aw, look at that. Archie saved that little ghost from Colonel's. Saved that little ghost from Colonel's wrath. What a good little hunter. A guardian cooed. Amaro watched in awe as every guardian in the courtyard simultaneously forgot about the candy, their attention devoted exclusively to the dog. Incredible, he mused with fascination. Amaro eventually found Archie again, sleeping and curled on a blanket in the annex. The ghost approximated the guttural sound of clearing one's throat, and the dog opened one eye. You know, after the whole chicken thing, I saw what you did up there to those guardians in the courtyard, the way you had them wrapped around your little paws. You've got a gift, Amaro said, and I could really use your help. Archie tilted his head, listening. Right now, those guardians don't care about anything else besides candy. It's controlling them, and they'll do anything for it. So we gotta get control of it instead. Archie growled. Not to hurt the guardians, Amaro said, feigned sincerity dripping in his voice. Just to help them, you know. You wanna help Anna, don't you? Keep her safe? Archie processed for a moment and then barked in agreement, sealing their pact. What are you about to get our good boy into? How nervous, how terrified had I been when they told me he was here. Fragmented remains, nothing more. Even still, I nearly thought the knowledge, telling no one nowhere, would drive me completely mad. But I could be trusted, they said. I could handle it, they said. So too, I said, and observed in silence, emplaced. For many nights I kept my watch, my distance. He would not see me, sense me, know me. I was determined, but then again, so was he. Thump, the thump, the thump. I heard it then, the steady, softly beating. An unwavering drum, calling out, bidding me to follow. The pests, the wind, I told myself, cocooned in lackless supposition. I wished to be gone from here. But they trusted me, they said. I could handle it, I said. So too were they convinced, and left me to my watch. The sound returned, for me, over and over, until it lost all patience and began to swell. Loud and round it filled my head, roaring and resounding. The pulsing of a heart. I must see him, sense him, know him. How this thought entered my mind I cannot say, but there it stayed, eternally. The thump, the thump, the thump. I placed my hand along his cask. The thump, the thump, the thump. I held him there inside my hands, and screamed into the thick, deep dark. An excerpt from The Forlorn Heart. What is that? What is that? Why did this just come out of nowhere? Okay, maybe... Like, this really sounds like... this makes me really feel like they're talking about Oryx in some capacity, like somebody's going to go find Oryx's body. Like Amaru's trying to go find Oryx's body because maybe Savathun asked him to go look for it. But if that's an excerpt from some other work of fiction, then I don't understand what the significance of it is in the middle of the book like that. Maybe there will be a clarification later, maybe I don't know. Maybe not. I'm gonna need a lot more of that. So far, RNG has been good to me, but that could change at any second. You know what I haven't been doing? I haven't been claiming and picking up new bounties. Oops. Well, that's no good. I'm definitely not getting that armor set now. Alright, we're doing this one now. You know what's ironic about this last sector? It's actually one of my favorite ones to do on normal. But in opposition to that, it's my least favorite one to do on Legend. There's literally just something about it.
Exos got here, the Vex were waiting. They twisted the Exos.
I think I like doing this one on normal a lot because it's the smallest one. You don't have to find your way around everywhere, I guess.
I don't know what that circle summons, but let's find out.
I kinda lost my train of thought there. It's fine on this difficulty, it's awful on Legend. That's all I'm really trying to say. You know what? I don't really know if I have anything to say anymore about the Bungie situation. Unless I can think of something later, I'll talk about it if I feel it necessary. But I want to talk about some things that happened to me this week, because some things that happened to me this week have been very annoying. So, last week, or possibly the week before, don't know, you probably know of a video game called Apex Legends. It's the Battle Royale game set in the Titanfall universe. I really like playing it. I don't play it a lot. Like, not nearly as much as I used to, because I don't play on Xbox very much anymore. So, and the only reason I haven't played it on PlayStation is because I've never wanted to start over on all my collecting. For all my cosmetics and whatever. If it wasn't for that, I would have just picked it up on PlayStation and just did whatever. The biggest news I've been waiting for the longest time was some, like, cross save of some kind in Apex Legends. So, they finally announced it with this new season that started this week. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm gonna finally get it on PlayStation and finally start playing it on PlayStation. Then I'll probably play it some more finally, because before then I might play a few days a season. But I think most of the part why that is because there's something faulty in my Xbox Series X. Something very wrong with the controller. It's hard to explain, but it has this weird problem with it, where sometimes if you just playing it and using it for a certain length of time, eventually something starts to short out, and then the controller will disconnect itself, but then you can't connect it anymore. Like, even with a cable, and the only way to fix it is to turn the system off and power cycle it, and it happens way more frequently than I wish it did.
Ain't nothing in here they can't handle.
And I think it's done it the entire time I've had it.
Prudence is not uncalled for.
And I just never bothered to take it back because I just didn't want to deal with it, because at the time it was really hard to get an Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5. So I was just kind of in the scenario of, I'm just gonna deal with it because I guess I have to. Obviously I could have tried. I definitely could have tried. But at the time I was more satisfied with having it than I was. Oh my goodness, they're just pushing me.
Stand in the circle.
What is it about Retrofit that just pushes enemies around? Okay, I'll go get A. But yeah, TLDR, not using Xbox as much these days. I've used it more than I have recently, though, I'll say that. Been playing some Warhammer 40k Darktide. Decided to get a free trial for Game Pass. Play that for a little while because me and Brian and a few others had been talking about trying it out. Brian's been playing it for like the last year, but it took a while for it to come out on consoles. And he got it on Xbox because that's the one thing that every single one of us have. Or at the time that was originally brought up, that's what all of us have. A lot of us actually have a PS5 now.
It's a different world of combat in there.
I don't see an engram.
Not sure if the stakes are all that thrilling.
If you don't want to spectate, you could always participate. Nothing would give me greater pleasure than to see the Guardian throw you like a grenade.
I think that,
Keep laughing, and
where
you'll
was I?
lose that
Where was I
other
on that
horn.
thought? I completely forgot. But yeah, almost all of us have a PS5 now. But either way, that's about to expire, so I don't know if I'm gonna. I think that Game Pass actually expires tomorrow, so I don't think I'm gonna be doing any of that for a while. I'm certainly not in the. I'm not in a situation where I want to spend money on a membership on Xbox right now because I'm just not using it. I made an exception so I could try playing a game with Brian because I don't actually play a lot of multiplayer games with Brian anymore. If we do, it's on PlayStation now. I'm playing some Baldur's Gate 3, but that's besides the point.
This sector has produced a high
The point
volume
I'm
of
trying to
Headless
make,
One
though,
sightings.
is
However, the presence of the anomaly made first-hand accounts unreliable.
Anomaly.
I wanted to start
Can't
playing
trust a
Apex on
moonlighter on the
PlayStation
best of
5.
days.
but I saw that thing about how they were slowly rolling out cross progression to like individual accounts across multiple weeks for a few weeks, as to quote unquote not mess. I don't know what the exact quote was. I don't know what I'm showing you. They wanted to not push stress on the servers, I guess that's what they said. And I'm like, I guess that makes sense, but at the same time, I don't know why you didn't just
the miners mad was a terrible,
put out cross-progression for everybody at the same time.
Before. Is it really so good that you turn homicidal without it?
Guess it is better to not cause problems on the servers. So, I guess that's a good enough excuse, but at the same time, it's like, whatever. Wish we could just have it sooner.
That summoning circle's a trap for sure. Sounds like fun.
What I'm trying to say is the problem I then had was I had to, the way cross progression works in that game is it's linked to your EA account. So you have to have an EA account if you want to have cross progression across multiple different platforms. I'm like, well, that makes sense. At the very least, that makes sense. At least a little bit. So I had to make sure that I had one. So I logged on the Xbox the other day, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna find out if I have an account or not. And I realized that I'd never verified it, like on my Xbox or something, or it didn't go through. I'm not sure, but whatever the case, I had at some point made an account, but did not realize it, and had apparently never verified it. So I went to go verify the email. Because I couldn't use, because I had realized I couldn't use that gift system because of it, and I'm like, well, I guess I better go take care of that. What I then realized was I couldn't actually do anything with the account because apparently, I don't know how much I've ever talked about this before, but the original email I used for like a lot of my passwords and accounts and whatnot, that password, or no, sorry, that provider was the old one. Talked about them. I know I've definitely talked about the provider a lot. It was a local provider called Ben Lomond. It's very awful service. Wouldn't recommend it. When you have their service, they give you its own proprietary email with it. But the problem with that is, if you cancel their service, you lose access to that email address. So I discovered that I had made that account, my EA account, in like 2011 at some point, apparently, under my Xbox gamer tag. But it still used that other email address. I'm like, oh no, this is a problem. And the only reason it was a problem is because I realized every time I tried to change something on there, because the easiest thing in the world in this scenario would obviously be, well, if you have access to the account, just log in on the account and then change your shit around. Just change your email. An option that could have been done under normal circumstances, but not under mine, because oh no, that would be too easy. No, what happened to me is I realized, because I did it through Xbox the first time I made it, I never actually verified the email address that it was associated with.
I wonder what it summons.
So what this ended up causing, the problem that ended up being caused because of this is whenever I would go to change literally anything under that account, it would tell me I have to verify my email first. I think you can see where this is going. I couldn't do anything. The problem was all of the... Sorry. The problem I was having was I couldn't access that email anymore to get the password I needed to verify the account. Because that email either doesn't exist anymore, or at the very least I don't have access to it.
Legends say that the
so
ones were
now I'm at the realization the only way I can do anything about this is to contact EA and actually recover the account somehow. And oh boy, that's where things get really tilted on my end. Did I get an engram? I don't think I didn't get an engram again. Oh boy, I get to rant about this more. So what happens next is I finally spend like 30 minutes actually finding the support window where I can actually talk to a, you know, quote-unquote person in a chat window to actually try and get this resolved. And I'm trying to explain to them the best way I know how what's happening to me. They're like, okay, we can attempt to recover your account. And this is where it got sketch to me. It was like, so the wording was something like, we need you to understand before we start this process. If this attempt fails, you will have to start again in a different window with a different representative. And in my head I'm thinking, what do you mean attempt? Why would this be an attempt? But at the same time I'm like, okay, whatever, let's just get this going. I want to get this count set up. And then the next message I get is, we need you to in order to verify that you are the account holder, we need your date of birth that you set under the account you had. Remember, this is the important part. This is all information that you have to have associated with the account you have, obviously, and information that was on it at the time. Like any time it was previously used. We need your date of birth, the last 4 digits of your credit card, your IP address, your street address, and among a few other things. Oh wait, one of the other things was you need to the IP address was one thing, but I think the absolute most egregious one on the list was the month and year of a specific purchase you made using your EA account, and I'm like, what is this? How could anyone... Like, let's be real here. How many times can you possibly... Like, I'm just so dumbfounded by this experience, it's hard to, like, really relate it. I haven't gotten to tell anybody about this yet. I've been kind of keeping this one for the stream. And I'm just so frustrated by it. It's just like, how are you supposed to remember a specific purchase on your account down to the month and year? And I tried I tried a few times to get my account recovered, and they're just like, no, this is enough, because obviously I can only give them like 1 or 2 things that I actually know for sure. They're like, no, and I did ask on one of the attempts, like, do I really need every single piece of information that you're asking, because this is a lot? They're like, oh, you can just give us what you know. What I knew wasn't a lot. Oh boy, was it not a lot. I knew the birthday. That's easy enough. Definitely confident in knowing that off the top of my head. It's literally everything else on that. I'm like, why is this necessary? Oh, the worst part was, there was one on there that was like, I think one of the other ones was a phone number. Yeah, I specifically remembered that because I specifically told them on one of the attempts, like, I never assigned a phone number to this account, so that should not be listed. But even that wasn't enough. So I'm caught in this weird loop where I could just start playing Apex Legends on my PS5 and start over and under a new account, or at the very least, if I attempt to link it to my old email address, I won't have to worry about about losing any of the progress I've made and all the stuff I've gotten. The only thing about that is, if I ever want to change the account information or anything again, it's like, well, you still can't do that because you don't have all the information you need or whatever.
Then your incursions into the Vex network.
I'm just so frustrated by it.
Let's hope you have the
It's unbelievable. It's like they don't, like, I can't. It's so frustrating. I can't keep it together to try and talk about it. Like, and it gets worse. And it gets worse too. I started looking into, like, what can you do to get around this? And the answer is you can't really get around it. It's quite simple as that. Can't really get around it. Like, the best thing you can do is possibly merge 2 accounts that use the same email address if you happen to have accidentally made a second one. And that definitely didn't help matters for me. Oh. I need to stop using. What am I doing? I have lost my train of thought because of that. Where was I? Oh no. Oh no. There's nothing I can do about it. Like, I did find out that if you, this is actually infuriating, because of the way that EA account progress works, nice engram. Because of the way the account system works on the EA, it's described as a lifetime thing, where you can only associate a gamer tag or profile to an EA account one time, and if you try to associate it with another one, it just doesn't work. Or because your in-game progress for some games is not associated with the game profile, it's associated with the account that is tied to that. It's associated with the EA account tied to the gamer profile. So you can unlink your profiles and send them to another account, no problem, under most circumstances, but I'll get to that in a moment. But you won't have any of the progress that you made because it's associated with the EA account and not your gamer profile. And I'm like, this is stupid. This is actually just awful. And it's even worse for me specifically because I'm sitting there being like, well, I'm just gonna unlink my Xbox profile then if I can't do anything. No, can't even unlink the Xbox profile because it's like, well, you need to verify your email address. I'm like, I'm just stuck in a loop here. I don't know what I do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Chapter 13 of Tales of the Forgotten Volume 3. It wasn't hard for Amaro to find candy to steal, and it was even easier for Archie to find Marks willing to hand it over, for him to transmat it into his stomach cavity. The complicated part they quickly discovered was what to do with it after. Mara's room was too conspicuous, too close to his minder. Instead, he searched for hidden niches throughout the tower. But the longer it took to find the next one, the longer Archie remained filled with candy. The extra weight slowed him significantly, and the effort to keep the candy from melting resulted in higher function latency. We gotta think smarter, not harder, Morrow finally admitted to Archie. We need to broaden this operation. Archie responded by rolling on the floor, his belly in the air. The candy wrappers crinkling inside him. This is so silly. What am I even doing? I was a scholar once. Of vast renown among those beyond the influence of the great machine. Here I told my house. See the truth and speak it with me. They refused, and so I left, unable to consume the bile of their belief. The wind was bitter, no hollow hot to warm me. The terrain full of danger, no scattercape to shield me. I was alone, wasting beneath a blanket of snow. But then in deepened slumber they came to me. Larger than life, a shadow of stars that rose up around me and whispered my name in a crescendo that threatened to boil my brain. A roar of imperious inquiry surged in my veins, and when it finally subsided, only one question remained. What did I want? Knowledge, percipience, enlightenment. How simple, quaint and predictable, the words rang in my ears like a gong. Then we will remake you, to guide your path toward all knowledge, and you will be bound to 1,000 deaths. On that last breath you will submit, claim forever, made and unmade among the specter of the stars until the end of time. I did not have to think, did not have to see or speak. All I needed was to know. An excerpt from The Tragical Scribe. Again, this sounds a lot like Oryx, but I'm not sure what this has to do with anything. The bar of the ether tank was packed with the city's patrons, elixir or otherwise, the forlorn drinkers, the karaoke enthusiasts, the social gamblers, Spider casually listened to the fervor as he scrolled through figures on his datapad calculating his fortunes. Neon light reflected along the silver snake design of the constricting shell design that Amaru wore. Archie trotted beside him as he approached. I have a proposition for you, Amaru said, but Spider simply continued to read. If I have to repeat myself, I'll do it, and you'll be next in my collection, Spider replied and turned suddenly to face him, an empty ghost shell held tight in his claw. You have no idea who you're messing with, Amaru sneered. Spider bent down to look directly at the ghost, eyes to eye. Oh, I absolutely do. Now get out. Candy is the driving currency around here right now. For everything, Amaru said quickly. I got the means to extract it. Adjust the economics for the city, if you will. But I need someone with access to storage. Lots of it. Spider paused for a moment. What's the cut? 15%. I'll also need tech for Archie here to quickly transmit the goods over long distances to a big facility, Amaru finished sweetly. 50%, Spider responded. 50% for storage. The tech, the storage, and everything that goes with it. You're out of your mind. 15. 60%. Take it or leave it. Amaru narrowed his iris. 50. 60, Spider said again and then turned to Archie. And what about you? You agree with this? Archie barked excitedly and Spider steepled his fingers. Looks like we have a deal. What is going on? This core book is getting so silly. I love it. Has this changed? Oh, it has. Okay, the moon is actually not bad on Legend. I will give this an attempt. It's not easy by any means, but I wouldn't say it's so hard that I wouldn't try it. The only thing that's gonna actually be bad is the unstop chance. Do I have anything for unstop? Let's see. Not really. I'm just gonna... I don't really want to change what I've got, is the problem. I don't know. I could. I don't know. I'm just having so much fun with the Stormcaller right now. I don't really want to change anything.
After the anomaly was discovered,
Let's see how this
miners
goes.
began reporting strange creatures roaming the area. Most people think they were hallucinations, but some think they were the Headless Ones.
Ooh. Forgot about doing the finishers. Oh, that was the last one. Wait. I didn't even see that he died. One thing's for sure, I'm getting my abilities back fast. Oh, there it is. How dare you?
Was a terrible, incurable insomnia. I've never slept before. Is it really so good that you turn homicidal without it? Maybe you should take a quick nap after this.
That's a good idea, honestly. Didn't sleep a lot this weekend, just in general.
Stand in the summoning circle.
I'll get right on that. Oh, it's up there. And yes. Oh no. That went south so quickly. Thank you. I can't drop a lift. Oh, stop it.
Another headless one.
No!
Fortune.
Oh, it's not going any better than it was. I was wrong. I'm so bad. That went right through the stairs. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yes. No! Get away! getting shredded. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. This is very good. Ooh! That one went off without a hitch. Get off. Oh, did that start while I was standing over there and I didn't even realize? Ah! Did I see tight fit on my screen? Or was I just seeing things? That's not an exotic I expected to... Oh, man! I hate coming... Literally, the only 2 Legend Lost sectors I've done has had someone in it just AFK farming. And I hate that. And I hate this even more. He is doing pretty well for himself, I gotta say that, though. He's carrying... Oh, I gotta sometimes I gotta shut my mouth. Put your shield down. There we go. Any more? Hey, there's no... There we go. Oh boy. Well, never mind. My good friend, save me. He must... Oh, he's doing with the unstop! What a cut. Oh, an even better cut. Alright, I'm gonna try and get him. Yeah, here we go. I'm not opposed to doing this one again. Necessarily, I just really want to have a... I want everyone involved to actually be doing something. I don't want it to be just me and one other guy. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh my. What's he doing? Oh! Man.
The magic that powers these summoning circles probably comes from a mighty hive boss. Find them and take them down, Guardian, before we end up with pumpkin heads ourselves.
That would be bad. Ah. Ah. Alright. Oh, now he's moving. Now he's doing something. I mean, thanks, I guess. I realize that I know that not everyone's doing page stuff anymore, but I want to at least think that some people are. Oh no, that was just a foolish mistake on my part. Rogue, where did you come from? Like, I actually don't know where you jumped from just then. Did you jump from the table or the couch behind me? I didn't see you at all. either way, I'm glad you joined us. I'm slowly starting to change my mind about whether I want to come back and do this one again or not. I'm definitely feeling this one more than I was the one that was set before. Oh no. Man. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, no. It's so rough doing these without a fire team to coordinate with. I know I said it earlier, but I think it's worth saying again. Ah. I'm gonna die again. Yep. It's so difficult to get a headshot on her from this close. Let's get her jolted. Again. Uh-oh. I can't get anything done! Why is it today everything is going terribly? Get off my friend! Is this the power of Ultra Instinct? I can't believe he put that shield up when he did. It's like he knew. It hasn't even taken damage yet, man. I'm not making it better. I'm just gonna super him, I don't care. I wanted to use it on the wizard, but I don't care anymore. He's gotta die. We've got the things we need. Thank goodness. Alright, it's time to end this. I'm done. I'm done with this legend-haunted sector. I want it to end. What? Where was that earlier? You could have done that the whole time.
Cliff suspects that the Headless Ones were created by Hive sorcery.
Can't believe you're doing this to me right now.
That's a hard sell, crab cakes. They look an awful lot like Hive wearing fancy masks to me.
Exactly my point.
Well, that went terribly.
For cosmetic purposes is not a Hive custom. Which is why I suspect it was human sorcery that created the Headless Ones.
Okay, we're starting to make some progress finally. Definitely be doing a normal Lost Sector after this. Alright, give me the commendation screen, please. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, you're all right. You're adorable. You know that. You're wonderful. Alright, no commendations from him, huh? Well, I guess I'm gonna bail them. I guess that was my candy that I just heard. Alright, next up we have... Yeah, after this will be... I hate that I can't see my cursor because of my camera. Alright. Chapter 16. It's the cutest cloak, Elsie. You have to see it. Anna gushed over her earpiece as she tinkered in her workshop. Her computer suddenly flashed with a notification, and she frowned. You could dress that dog in a paper bag and he'd still be inconceivably adorable, Elsie said. That's a good point. The line was silent. Anna, are you still there? Elsie asked. Anna responded, focused on the computer screen. Elsie laughed. I'll call you back later. No, wait, Anna exclaimed, her brow knitted with worry. Sorry, Something's wrong with Archie. Is he hurt? Elsa asked anxiously. Wow, can't believe I flipped that somehow. No. I just got a diagnostics report from him. The second one today. I thought the first one was a fluke, she sighed. He must have a bagged subroutine running. I'm just gonna have to do a full workup on him. What do the reports say? Lots of stuff, but the one constant is the chemical equations, formulas, and compounds. Carbon 12, hydrogen 22, oxygen 11, carbon 6, hydrogen 8, oxygen 7. Ratios of crystalline carbohydrates, amorphous ones, carrageenan, invertase, theobromine. Individually these make no sense, but synthesized in certain sequences is candy. Even Elsie's getting in on this. Oh my god. Imaru was analyzing their take for the day when Spider called. You think I'm stupid? Spider grumbled. I don't know what you're talking about, Imaru said coolly. The numbers don't add up. The load assessed from your canine is not what my lackeys are calculating in the warehouse. I ain't skimming from you. Maybe check your lackeys. These numbers keep coming in skewed and the deal's off, understand? Then you can kiss your 40% goodbye. Oh, and another thing. I keep seeing Guardians going to the tower for their candy. Fix it, Spider demanded and hung up. Maybe this isn't enough, Amaru said to Archie, the dog looking at him quizzically. You're gonna have to go bigger. We're gonna have to go bigger and headless. Oh boy, where is this going? Hey, Amaru called out. The walls inside the derelict creaked and groaned in response, shuddering as if the cobbled halls had suddenly ripped apart. He was alone. Amaru wandered through the ship until he stumbled on shelves of containment glass that lined the walls. A jar held eyeballs that roiled slowly in a viscous liquid. Their stare following Amaru. Their stare following Amaru. There were hundreds of odd samples and organisms. Some could have still been alive, but he wasn't willing to find out. Up ahead he heard an impossibly low utterance. The infrasonic vibrations melded into a droning moan and swelled into something indescribable. The sound traveled toward him, closer and closer. And then, it stopped. Everything stopped. Imaru turned, face to face with the blood-red eye of another ghost. Get back, Imaru shrieked. The red-eyed ghost complied. Its eyes seemed to bug outward from the grotesque and malformed patchwork shell that twisted and hunched to one side. The ghost hung lopsided in the air as if it was dragging the weight of the world. Is Drifter here? The ghost's iris rapidly flickered from red to blue in a hypnotic pattern. Guess I'll take that as a no. You, got a name there, pal? The other ghost's eye immediately went solid red, its gaze still steady on Imaru. Right. Drifter has some goods on the headless ones. Mind if I borrow them? Anything you got. The other ghost floated over to a container marked Cabal Brains and stroked the lid lovingly with his shell. No, Imaru yelped. No, I don't need those brains. No, don't need those either. No, you can keep the eyes too. The silent ghost bobbed around Imaru and slid his flap down his shell. It pulled him close until it grazed Imaru's eye. Until it grazed Imaru's iris. You're busy. I'll come back Never, Amaru whispered as he hurriedly released himself and transmatted away. So he did finally get to meet Drifter's ghost. And I guess JD was right. Drifter's ghost really can't talk. I actually didn't know that was a thing. I guess the kit bashing actually did something about that. I guess that's a detail I never picked up on, but I guess after reading that, it's true. Because what other reason would he have to not say anything? Sorry, Rogue. But yeah, anyway. Oh boy. As a matter of fact, Brian, I am not ready to die for the Emperor. I am streaming. I'm gonna have to send him a message after this. Sorry, Rogue.
I attempted to contact the elixir.
I would be ready to die for the Emperor if I wasn't streaming.
They were less than accommodating.
I ain't mad we're doing things the hard way.
But anyway, in regards to what I was saying earlier, look forward to the Apex Legends stream, I guess, where I start completely over from scratch.
Hey, Ikora. We're stalking malignant entities of
I don't know.
origin
The
called
only
the
thing,
Headless Ones.
this is
They're
completely
chasing the pumpkins
asinine
again.
Let's investigate those mysterious
and
ritual
stupid.
circles.
But literally the only
they've got
way I
malignant
could
loot,
possibly
alright.
fix
Me
this
too, have
problem and like actually get all my stuff is possibly
Let's check
to
the loot
call
on these
that
headless
old
ones,
internet
Hero.
provider and ask about the old email address and see if there's any way I can just access the email somehow. Because I know for a fact that it has to still exist somewhere. Or at the very least, based on previous experience that I won't go into because that's a lot to talk about actually. That it's not really... That the email should still technically exist somewhere, it's just that it can't be used by me right now. So I'm wondering if there's a way to reactivate it or not. I'm going to assume no. I'm going to assume the answer to that question is no, unless I pay money that I don't want to pay right now. And I just, at the end of the day, don't think that's worth it. So, I guess all I can do now is make a new... Oh, I didn't even bring this up. I did make a new EA account already. Because, just, like, I made it initially, because I completely forgot that I didn't have one already. So I made it, and then looked into all this other stuff. I'm like, well, I've got 2 EA accounts now, and one doesn't have anything on it yet, so... Just got a blank slate over there. The problem with this whole situation is that I can't ever have anything associated on the Xbox with it anymore. And it's just always going to be on that old one unless I figure out how to change it. Like, imagine if I somehow guessed the verification password. That would be amazing. Obviously, it would never happen, but if I somehow got that right, that would be one way to do it, but that's never gonna happen. Just wishful thinking. I want... Yeah, it just may come down to accepting that I might have to have two EA accounts, one of which is just kind of dead in the water. It just makes me scared to ever play it on Xbox now. Because I'm just sitting there thinking, well, I could just play it and have all my stuff, but at the same time, it's on an account that technically is dead and can't be connected to anything else. I can't link or unlink anything to or from it.
I've learned to give the Elixni the benefit of the doubt.
I guess the best thing I can do is I literally just start over
I think it's safe to consider
and just say, well, the Xbox has stuff as one profile, but and the PlayStation now has a profile. And just say and just call it there. I don't know, as frustrating as it is. And I just don't know. It might be worth an ask to call that old internet provider just in case, but I'd just rather avoid it I'd rather avoid it if I could. Because I tell you what, the second I realized that Spectrum was available out here, I left them and didn't look back. So there's kind of an awkward thing, I guess. It's like, oh yeah, the old internet provider that I totally left behind that's way more expensive than my current one and is worse in pretty much every way. Hi, it's me again. Remember me? I paid you too much money. I've come to grovel before you once again. Because I'm desperate to not have to regain all that stuff I collected. It's such a bad situation. I hate it. I hate it so much. I got an engram. Awesome. That's fantastic. It actually is good. That's one less I have to do. 6. I better send it that way. Brian, I am streaming right now. If I not sure if I actually wanted to give him the best dress or not, but whatever. Have time after. I will play. Yeah, that's good enough for now. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do anything. Surprisingly long grind. Gotta say that, especially if you're committed to actually doing this way. Okay, I think, yeah, got it. Chapter 19. Back in the last city, Amaru and Archie reviewed their data of the Headless Ones from a computer terminal. I think this is everything. Drifter was a no-go, Amaru said. Archie whined in response. I don't want to talk about it. He didn't have anything we could use. Look, we got ourselves Gwent and Ido's research, and the goods I snagged from the Guardian while in the field. There's plenty here to work from. Archie gave him a doubtful look. Amaru donned his hive shell and sighed. You'll see. I'll go find me some supplies. We got work to do. What do you think? Ido asked hopefully as Mithrax placed her datapad on the table in front of him. They are good, he finally admitted. Really? She exclaimed. He nodded. Especially the tragical scribe. To sacrifice one's freedom for boundless knowledge, it is a sorrowful yet troubling tale. I believe everyone will enjoy these stories, including the hatchlings. But Ido, I must caution you. Okay, so those two stories are stories that Ido has written. Or at least parts of them. Okay, I'm glad that got cleared up. The descriptions can be long sometimes, I know, but I think I can know. You misunderstand. My apprehension is for you. You are a keeper of history and a seeker of truth. By publishing these stories, you conflate your name, your honor trust as scribe, with untruths. Ido frowned and considered a moment. Why can't I do both? Mithrax sighed. Because history may not be able to tell the difference. Ugh. That's actually rough, thinking about it that way. Nightfall was never quite as dark when the last city celebrated the Festival of the Lost. Lanterns cast a pastel mosaic over the people. Glowing candles illuminated their offerings for the dead. A lone hunter wandered among the memorials and stopped to look at each one. Sometimes flowers, sometimes food. Sometimes well-loved trinkets or handwritten notes of remembrance and love. Photos. Children's drawings. He watched an Elixni mother place a delicate scratch of eggcloth, and suddenly knelt beside her. He felt the wax of the lavender-hued candle already in his hand, the wick clean and bright. He moved to light it, to place it among the offerings, and then he stopped. The hunter's expression was gentle and warm as he held the candle out to the Elixni mother. "For your little one," he simply said. She hesitated, then thanked him in her language. He abruptly leapt and continued on through the tower, wandering past the bazaar into the courtyard, until finally he looked up and realized he was standing in the one place he hated to be. Wait a minute. Did I miss... Oh, I think okay, I think I'm following what's going on here. I think this is supposed to be, like, talking about the hunters not, like, being in the tower as much. Since Cade died, I guess that's still a pretty relevant thing. It is the same. I do not want to stream for the Emperor. I can't. You just missed a whole conversation. Well, that actually had nothing to do with it. You just missed a whole conversation I just had about the problems I'm having with my Xbox right now. It's actually crazy. I'll gladly tell you about it. I'm talking to Ethan in the chat, by the way. One of the Ethans I know. I'll gladly tell you all about it later if I have time. Either that or you can rewind the stream. Whichever one you prefer.
Research into the headless ones.
Don't know if I necessarily feel like repeating it, but
I have my doubts.
I don't blame
it's related to EA bullshit.
good guys, but they get
That's all I'll say.
confused sometimes.
That's all I'll say right now. I already ranted about this for like an hour.
Captain of House Dusk, who fought valiantly against both Cabal and Lightbearer in this very cave. Victory was near, until they were betrayed and transformed into Taken.
Gaming really is something. Gaming really is something these days. Gotta say. Look at the state we're in. Microtransactions run rampant. And Bungie no longer has Michael Salvatore. What's this world coming to? Excuse me. I want to talk about something good, man. I'm tired of talking about things that are frustrating. It's awful and I hate it. I mean, man, I thought about it for like 2 seconds and realized there's no way I can talk about anything good without talking about bad things. I hate this feeling. I hate it so much. This is a mood. This is a mood and a half. As the kids would say. Well, been playing, well, I guess I could talk about some things I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon this past month. I played the DLC for the first DLC for Scarlet and Violet because it came out, and I don't know what it. Something about that DLC just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. There are things about it I just really did not care for. It certainly turned some expectations on its head, and it had a few cool moments, but I think I didn't enjoy the story in it that much. Like, I'm not saying that DLC isn't fun, because it was fun enough that I wanted to go and play it and get the full decks again. And also, man, I had a really, really weird, like, unique experience with that DLC, where I ended up not liking the main story that much, but what ended up happening was instead, I became way more invested in one of the side quests that happened because of some weird timing on my part. So what has happened, what I've done in my life is, Legends Arceus came out. Oh no. Oh, we're gonna sit here for a minute and a half. Well, I guess I definitely have something to talk about now. I played Legends Arceus when, not quite when it came out. I played it kind of close to launch. Maybe a month or two after, I think. And I did what I believe was most of the tutorial. But at the time, I was just like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. This is super different than what they usually do. So I put it to the side for a really long time. And then Violet and Scarlet came out. And I got Violet and I played it, and this is the first game I actually got the national decks completed in because of how fun it is. Like, despite how badly it performs and every other problem that game has, it has a really surprisingly good story that I actually really like. And aside from that, the gameplay loop is actually really fun. They actually nailed it with that. And then I took a break from it for a while. I picked it up every now and then to see if a raid came out that I was interested in catching a Pokemon in, but that was about it. Then the Teal Mask DLC came out.
They believe the Headless Ones are Red Legionnaires, trapped by an eternal curse.
That summoning circle's a trap for sure. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, Teal Mask DLC came out. I played it, I played all the story, I found pretty much every quest I could find there. I had to look up that one quest about the characters that are supposedly Legionnaires' parents. That was a little bit annoying. I ran out of patience for that really quickly. Like, that was somehow one of the last things I did. I think I completed the National Dex before I finished that quest. Like, as embarrassing as it is to admit, I somehow missed their first location, even though it's, like, right next to the town. It just happened to be in a spot I never thought to look over to. Like, I just somehow never looked a few feet to the left or something. But either way, I finished the story of the DLC and wasn't as impressed. Just don't think the characters really resonated with me at all. I don't know what they're doing with Kieran. They're framing it almost like they're giving him a villain arc, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't know if they know what they're doing with this story arc that's going on. And I don't know if I'm happy to see those characters are supposed to be in the next DLC or not. Because I know they are. I just don't know to what extent they're supposed to be involved. But either way, wasn't that impressed with that side of things. But the Blood Moon Ursaluna quest was actually really interesting to me because, like I said, it wasn't very far into Legends Arceus.
I was commending both of you. A job well done with these headless ones.
Save it. Unlike you, I
wasn't very far into Legends Arceus, so I hadn't had time to familiarize myself with some things and what those Pokemon were all about. And just on the same topic, that was my first experience. That game was my first time actually catching a Basculegion and trying it out, and I really think Basculegion's a really cool Pokemon, and I would like to have one on my team in Legends Arceus at some point. And I'm looking forward to that. No, I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. That can wait. The Ursaluna quest for the new variant of Ursaluna, I got really super interested in for some reason. I guess it was just because it was, like, genuinely new in almost every aspect for me. And I was like, oh, this is nice. And also had that really relatable character in it. Perrin, I think is her name. I was like, this little quest was good. I like this. But then I thought, okay, there's some time before the Indigo Disc comes out. I should probably finally give Legends Arceus the chance it deserves. And I guess what happened was I just happened to stop right when the game was opening up, because after that, I was able to do whatever I wanted. And it finally clicked. Like, the whole thing. Like, all it took was one more chance, and I was like, oh, this is it. And I've been playing it as much as I can since then. I'm at the island section now, like the third major area. I believe that's which one it is. I was about to start that the quest associated with the island deity. I believe that's the right termage. I don't know what Pokemon what that third Pokemon is supposed to be. I just know it's the one after Lilligant. And it's the one where they're talking about the old Gorge is dead, but they want you to help raise up that Pokemon's heir to be the next one. I didn't find out yet which one that is. All I know is that's where I'm at right now. But anyway, I'm really liking Legends Arceus, and I'm just looking back at it, and I'm going, how did this come out before Scarlet and Violet? This is actually insane. How is this allowed? How is this legal? Arceus it just performs very well and has a really cool art style to it. Like, despite it maybe not still looking quite the best as it could be, it does look good. It looks really nice. The levels look really well designed. There's some love put into it, I can feel it. And it's not to say there wasn't love put in at Scarlet and Violet, but Arceus looks finished. I guess that's the, like... It's the meanest but most honest way I can put it, I guess, is that Arceus definitely looks finished, for the most part. I have seen, like... There's, like, one instance of frame rate dropping I've seen in that game, and it's only when, like... There's a Pokemon with... It's always the wings. It's always the wings that act weird at lower frame rates and look really bad. But you'll see a Pokemon like that's just too far outside of your render vision. It's just close enough to be in it, but too far away to be at the right frame rate, and it just doesn't look very good. But yeah, that's the only, like, bad thing I've seen so far. No frame, like, no, like, actual in-game, per se, frame rate drops. It's just been assets. It performs and loads very well. My only thing about that game was having to relearn all the controls, because it's just so vastly different in Scarlet and Violet in a lot of ways. Some buttons are just mapped to completely different controls. There's not a lot. There's not really anything you can do about that. I'm having a lot of fun.
I don't know if these are
and
the same
now I'm
bond that
really
killed
starting to
those
see
Guardians.
why so many people love Arceus way more than
Let's take out their
Scarlet and
leadership,
Violet.
so
I
another
might
party
actually
doesn't
end
pay the
up
price.
becoming one of those people during this process, and I can feel it happening already. But all that being said, I'm gonna have some major whiplash next month when the Teal Mass, no, the Indigo Disc comes out. Because there's just so much. The controls are so different. It's visually not, it's not as visually appealing. Like, for real, Arceus has a really good look to it that I love. I love looking at it. Even if it's not the best looking game ever made, I think that is a great 3D Pokemon game. Probably their best, visually. I don't think it's wrong to say that. And I'm almost of the opinion that I want every Pokemon game to just be like that from now on. Maybe not exactly the same, but at the very least I want it to be like... I want it to feel like that one. I want it to look like that one, to at least some extent. It'd be a really nice thing. So we can't have another Violet and Scarlet. We can't. We just can't. The one big advantage I think that Arceus has is the fact that it's not one or two giant maps, and it's more like, yeah, it's not just one giant map, it's several smaller ones, and I think that definitely takes some strain off of it. I think that definitely helps a lot. Yeah, I thought that it would be... When the first time I played the game, I remember just having that distinct feeling that it was gonna be, like, super overwhelming to have to do all those different things just to complete the Pokédex. Like, you gotta do, what is it, 10 different objectives? At the very least, 10 similar enough objectives to actually get the dex filled in. And it seemed overwhelming to me at the time to have to do it that way, so I guess that just kind of alienated me from it, but Now that I'm actually really into it, I'm like, this is great. I want this. Like, I want this. I want to keep doing this. I want to keep having fun doing this. So I guess, guess that means I'm like a third or halfway through the game right now, or halfway through the story at least. I'm 4th star rank right now. I just got to that today. It's really fun when you start really getting into it.
And you'll lose that other horn.
Okay. We have another engram. Yes. There's 3 more to go. Hand out some commendations. You look alright. You're gonna give me some commendations? No? Okay. I have waited long enough. I've got engrams to get. I feel so daunted right now, looking at all that other lore that I still have to read from those other books that I gotta catch up on. I swear I'm gonna do it eventually. Chapter 22. The memorials left at Amanda's workshop were many. Too many for Zavala to count. He moved them aside, assessing the damage left by Colonel's rampage through the tower from earlier that day. So many feathers, he mused. He pulled back a canvas covering Amanda's belongings to clean up the broken candles scattered beneath. A container of nuts and bolts fell from a workbench. Zavala gasped as they rained down, and he rushed to collect them before they could roll away. He opted to balance them in a drawer for safekeeping. Okay. And as he did, his fingers brushed against a folded piece of paper. He opened it. A colorful drawing, not of ships, not of adventure, but of a large blue titan and a smiling little girl. Tears welled in his eyes and he held the drawing close. "Can't sleep?" a quiet voice asked. Zavala looked up to find Crow standing in front of him. "I suppose I could ask the same of you," Zavala replied instead. "Want some company?" Zavala nodded and gently pocketed the drawing. He looked around at the uncovered workspace. At the half-full mug of coffee. The single welder's glove. The data pads and blueprints, shop rags and tools. "I always knew I'd have to face this task eventually. Tonight feels, well, right," Zavala said. He lovingly picked up a spanner. "I need to find a good home for her tools. Someone who will really appreciate them." Crow gave him a slight smile. "I think I might know someone." That's still heartbreaking. In the depths of the tower, Imaru cobbled together a prototype torso for his monster with patchwork remnants of deceased headless ones, fragments of pumpkins stolen while tagging along with the Guardian. Missing sections were filled in, the left arm of a deceased ogre, the right ripped from a freshly made thrall. Imaru worked well into the night, wiring and welding and seaming and cutting. Finally, it was ready. Imaru sent a current flowing through the wires and ran siphoned ether into his creation. He's Frankensteining. He's literally Frankensteining right now. The chest began to swell and heave as if it were breathing. The eyes glowed bright blue, and ether poured from its ragged mouth. The monster torso pulled itself upright and dragged itself, a trail of seeds and fibrous orange flesh left behind along the table. The headless one set its gaze upon its maker, and then it grabbed him. The monster's ogre arm gripped Amaru's shell with all its strength and pulled him toward its mouth as ether vapor rolled over the ghost's eye. Without warning, the head cracked at the seams. It split apart, splattering across the floor. The torso slumped lifeless against the table. Ugh. Almost, Amaru. Almost. When Ido found Ikora, she was meditating beneath the jacaranda tree. Jacaranda? I actually don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know if that's a ya or a ja. Might be a ya. Either way. Away from the noise of the bazaar. Is there something you need? Ikora asked, amusement apparent in her voice, her eyes still closed. I'm sorry to disturb you, Ido said. Not at all, Ikora replied. She patted the ground beside her. Gwent tells me you have aspirations of becoming an author of scary stories. How are you doing? It was going well at first. I had so many ideas, but now I think I'm blocked, as Gwent put it. I thought that writing could help me handle my fears. I've been very scared of a lot of things lately. Ikora looked at her knowingly. Eris, she said simply. Ido nodded. But my writing is not improving in spite of my fear. It is suffering from it. When we used the Deck of Whispers, Ikora quirked an eyebrow, and Ido raised one of her hands. I know, Gwent said he left a note. The cards made me realize that there are so many different sources of fear in the universe, a multitude of threats, of unknowns. Perhaps that has come my greatest source of dread. It's important to be honest with yourself in what you're feeling, Ikora replied kindly. You're not alone in these thoughts, these fears, but don't let the cards distract you. They are not meant to tell your fortune or future. They are meant as a guide, a form of insight into yourself. You are the one who ascertains a course of action, not the cards. Okay. Mithrax, why you gotta put the feeling of doubt in your poor girl? You already nearly scared her off in Blunder. Why do you gotta do this now? You know, I had a few things I definitely wanted to talk about today, and that was like the things I've talked about is kind of mostly it. Don't know what else to fill the gap at the moment. I don't think I'm raspy yet. What else have I done? I mean, I've been playing a lot of Arknights lately. Been trying to, like, and not even, like, sitting it down and auto-moding everything. I've been, like genuinely sitting down and playing it. Trying to get a bunch of stages done that I never did, like, the advanced or expert mode in, I guess you would call it. And also, Chapter 12 came out. That whole chapter is just depressing as hell. And while it was good, it was like, man, main characters need a break right now, and they need it bad. It's so bad for everyone.
These must be the headless ones. Very clever disguises.
And aside from all that, oh man, I can't believe I actually did the adverse difficulty for the final stage, the final story stage in that episode. That final boss is something. It's rough. It's rough going. I don't know how. There's something about the design of that game. It's like, wow. Like, I feel dread every time I see that the adverse difficulty literally just changed the way the stage looks. Because sometimes the stage is so different, it may as well be completely different. That happens a lot when they do that. And it's shocking how moving, like, only a couple of things around can change a stage so significantly. Like removing some spaces or adding something, or just shifting something over. It's really... I couldn't believe how much of a difference it made in trying to do that one stage. I was going at it for hours, actually, before I finally got one. I actually ran out of the, like, 3 tries. And then what ended up happening, I had done so much practicing, I had been finally doing a really good job trying to get to the end, and I actually used some of my sanity to do it on the next attempt and got it. I was like, oh wow. Oh, that was... I don't want to do that again for a while. Like, I've also gone back and gotten the 4 stars on every stage in episodes 1 through 8. That was hard. Well, some of those stages were hard anyway. JT83 is still the bane of my existence, but I pulled it out. That is so rough. I did some of the Inferno mode stages on that as well, but the last one got me because it's literally that same boss again, but it has that civilian mechanic in it. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no, I need to not do this right now. This is hard. And this is difficult and I don't have time. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the new story event that's coming up, because this, I wasn't expecting that event was next, because I thought that was the 4th anniversary event in the original server. But it's being bumped up all the way to right now, so that's a welcome surprise. I might just be wrong about it being. I thought for sure it was, though. I remember people making a big deal about it, but no wait, maybe I am wrong. Can't remember anymore. I don't know how long it came out. Maybe it was just the 3.5 year, and I'm just thinking of it wrong, because I think the 4th anniversary is happening right now in the original server. It's the wonderful thing about playing Arknights. You get to know about a thing that exists for like 6 months, and then you get to wait for it on the global server. And then sometimes things come out of order, because it's like, oh, we got this one done, we got all this stuff translated, we can put that out. But hey, whatever. It's coming out. Also, that update is gonna have some great character skins in it that I want I actually want to get all of them. Like, almost all of them. The Shin altar skin's good. The Kaltsit skin is also good. And that one for Orchid is also great. I'm glad that one's free. Yeah, very good outfits this time around. Apparently that story quest is like actually super important for like the larger universe, so I'm interested in what it has to offer.
So, in your expert opinion, could the Headless Ones be Elixni or Cabal transformed somehow?
I doubt it. Everything about them screams Hive.
That's not good.
Except for that big, beautiful head.
I agree.
Or wait.
That part of them seems distinctly human.
I think I did get one. Did one drop? Did I not notice? That seems right. Hold on, I'll check on that in just a moment. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, you look great. I have 8. And I started with 3 and then got a... Oh boy. I can't think. I don't want to let this roll. I need to leave. Okay. There's 33. And what did I finish? I got up to 24. So... 3... Okay. 3... I hate counting this kind of stuff. Hate trying to think about it. Okay. 3 engram, 6 engram, 9 engram. Wait. Oh, I'm losing my mind here. 3 engram, 6 engram, 9 engram, 12 engram, 15 engram, 18 engram, 21 engram, 24, and then an engram. Okay, I actually did get another one then. So I read these next 3, I get another one, read the next 3. Yeah, it did drop, and I just didn't see it in feed. Weird. Just put the like math equations thing over my head at that moment. That was bad. Maru and Art, that's what I get for not just doing it, just starting with the engram first. I feel like that would have made it easier. Maru and Archie nervously stared at their second assembled prototype on the table. The tech knitted through the salvaged organic components had been upgraded. A Cabal sword replaced his right hand. Splicer wiring wove through his left arm. Vex milk coursed through his veins. The rest had been completely pieced together from carefully procured Headless One parts, reassembled into a patchwork of organic horror. It oozed a dark, gelatinous liquid from its seams and smelled of death. Next to the body was the final piece, a perfectly intact pumpkin head. Archie sniffed and pawed at the dormant head, and the pumpkin rocked from side to side. "Careful," Imaru snapped. "Those things don't sever easily without exploding," he shuddered. "One favored drifter is enough." Imaru attached the head to the body. A perfectly mutilated fit. He opened the chest cavity, the flesh stretching and tearing as he inserted a discolored hive crystal inside. Energy surged through the headless monster, and a haunting red light flickered inside his head. It howled and snarled as it sat up. "It's perfect! Perfect!" Imaru mused with glee. "You want candy, huh? You crave it. Need it," Imaru said to the monster. It ambled forward and swiped its good arm at him in response. "Then go out there and get it. All of it," Imaru said. The monster found his footing and began to hurry toward the door. Archie growled and raced after it as Imaru giggled with delight. "Now the real fun begins. This is Destiny." The Headless One quickly made its way to the bazaar. Vendors scattered, people grabbed hatchlings and children running in every which direction. Gwent and Ida watched in horror as the Headless One lashed out and shoved a rotisserie over. Sorry. Quickly catching nearby booths on fire, it ripped apart a display of candy, devouring every last piece in sight. And when it was gone, the monster continued its rampage. It tore through lanterns, pulling them apart as if searching for something. It smashed fruit from one booth, threw vegetables from another. Frustrated, it began to claw at the drawing of candy on the ground, a fistful of decorations in its good hand as it shrieked with a blood-curdling scream. Oh, that was actually a really short one. Can't even scroll it up and down. A headless one, Ido and Gwent exclaimed in unison as Archie raced up behind them. We need help. I'll go find Crow, Gwent said. There's no time. The longer we wait, the more dangerous this monster becomes, and someone could be killed. We have to stop it now, Ido replied. She hastily analyzed the composition of the monster. It's not like the headless ones we've studied before. Look at his appendages. Is that Vex milk? I think so, Gwent said. Saccharomyces cerevisiae and sucrose react with Vex milk. If my calculations are correct, the chemical reaction creates a mass in what humans categorize as a toothpaste. If the excreted gas gets caught, the point, Gwent, the headless one would break apart without putting anyone in danger, he quickly shouted. It would have to ingest the catalyst, Ido surmised. Exactly. But it's not like we can force-feed it bread. It eats candy. Archie barked repeatedly beside them. I don't speak dog, Gwent said, and Ido shrugged. Archie growled and then transmatted a pile of candy onto the ground. Ido and Gwent exchanged a look of surprise. That'll work, she said. Okay. This is really weird. This is such a really weird book. I love it. I gotta stretch. Or at the very least, I need to sit up a little more. Oh my goodness. I could feel myself sinking into that chair. I feel a foot taller. You're so close to the end. Oh, I should check my bounties again. Here we go. Nice. Definitely didn't need to get that one, but whatever. Whew. I dread checking what time it is. Because as much fun as I'm having right now, can't stay up too long.
This sector has produced a high volume of Headless One sightings. However,
Sure
the presence
has.
of the anomaly made first-hand accounts unreliable.
Anomaly? Hell. You can't trust a moon miner on the best of days. Damn cheats.
Such a weird line. I love it. I actually kind of miss all the Amaru dialogue, though. Like, it's like it only happened for 1 week, where Amaru was the real host of the dialogue in this thing. Now suddenly it's just kind of stopped. I really miss it.
Guardian, I hear you're taking some time off to recharge.
Hey, Petra. Not really. We're battling the headless ones on the moon. As it turns out, their pumpkins are filled with loot.
I don't know what it was, but I've never noticed the way he delivers that line. When he gets to the moon, he's like, the moon!
I don't know what that circle summons, but let's find out.
Oh man, it sucks not knowing what to talk about in the moment. I had so many things planned, but then...
All the old stories are true.
Then RNG did not bless me quite as well as I was hoping it would. This season should have, like... I don't know how much longer is left in this season, actually. If it's 3 weeks after Reset Tomorrow or 4. It's probably 3, if I had to take a guess, so... I imagine if anything's gonna happen with seasonal stuff, it's gonna be like within the next week or two. I don't know if they'll wait until the last week again, like they have been lately, but we'll see. You know, now I think about it, there hasn't been an exotic quest associated with the season for any kind of cool new exotic weapon or anything. Haven't seen one of those. We got Defiance had Avalon, and Deep had the Wicked Implement, so do wonder if they're gonna put something in on the end of this one. I haven't heard anybody talk about like a Elite quest or anything. Usually when something like that comes out, it's all over my recommended, whether I want it to be or not. It does end up there sometimes. I've seen nothing about Elite Quest as of yet, so I don't know if that means I just haven't seen them pop up, or if it actually hasn't gotten leaked. Or no one's... Well, that's asinine to think that nobody's made a video on it if it has happened, I suppose. That's just naive. Please move out of my way! I'm trying to finish this as fast as possible! There we go. There's some video. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. That was nasty. Speaking of nasty, there's some videos. There's like one or two videos on Astacross's channel you should probably watch related to the Bungie layoffs that you should definitely watch. He took one of them down, but as far as I know, the other ones he's put out are still there, and they're definitely worth a watch because he's got some extra information. He's talked to some sources inside all this, and related to the massively long season that we're about to go into in a few weeks. The first ever 7-month season.
A strong hive presence in your sector.
Apparently, they are going to put, according to these sources, there is going to be some sort of addition in content that comes out during that gap to help tide things over a little bit and make it to where there's at least something to do. However, it's probably not going to be anything like in the likes of the 30th anniversary thing. Right now, we just don't know what it is, or what it'll be. I just hope it's good enough to tide us over. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but the only thing I could think of that would be a really good pick would be to just port over Wrath of the Machine. And the only reason I think that is because apparently there weren't any plans for any more reprise raids, which literally means that there's no plans to do Wrath. But literally everyone wants Wrath to come back, so oh no, his shield's up and I didn't notice! I messed up! But yeah, bringing Wrath back now that some time has opened up, assuming that they actually can do it in this short amount of time,
During the Festival of the
is to
Lost,
bring Wrath
sometimes
back,
the answer is
or
more
bring it forward
mysterious
rather.
than the mystery.
There's an engram. That would be a really good thing to just add into the game, because I know people will want that loot. And also, that raid's really good. It would also be a good time for me to finally sit down and finish it myself. Like, the one thing I never did in Destiny 1 that I really wish I had done was finish Wrath of the Machine. It's actually how me and Brian met JD, was doing a run of Wrath of the Machine. We just never finished it because we did it on hard mode, and at that point, a lot of people were either only doing it on hard, or not at all, basically, so... And I had never done it before that. So, things just weren't going well, and also we had some people that weren't very patient, to say the least. Yeah, just did not get into it. There were some unsavory individuals in that run. Chapter 28. Ida raced to a nearby vendor table of Elixni baked goods and swiped the biggest loaf she could find. Her forehands worked furiously, tearing off chunks of bread and wrapping them in candy wrappers, and she suddenly realized she was very glad to be Elixni. "Ido!" Gwent yelled. She looked up and saw the Headless One barreling toward them and the assorted pile of candy at her feet. They scrambled out of the way just as the Headless One descended on the colorful wrappers, devoured everything without a second glance, but nothing happened. "I don't understand," Gwent said. "That should have worked. Perhaps there is a chamber inside, something to hold the Vex milk as it distributes through the body," Ido asked. "We're going to find out," Gwent said. He zipped toward the Headless One, scanning it as it swiped furiously at him. "The chest!" he called out, just as the monster batted him away. Gwent spun through the air, dizzy but unharmed. Archie barked and immediately rushed to action, enticing the Headless One to chase him. The dog led it toward the kettle corn stand, weaving quickly through its legs. The monster stumbled and Archie leapt forward, giving it a solid shove. The monster caught the massive cast-iron kettle, pulling it down as it fell to the ground. The kettle landed on his chest with a solid crunch, pouring popcorn and hot liquid sugar into the Headless One's body. The monster howled in pain and pried itself free. It swayed as it stood, Vex milk bubbling from its chest wound. Crow, Zaval, and Anna rushed forward with Glint beside them, and Ido pushed them away. "Get back!" she yelled and took cover. The Headless One screamed again, its body expanding, the edges of the pumpkin head splitting and cracking. Suddenly the monster exploded, erupting in a rainbow of foam that rose thick and high into the sky before cascading into a sticky sea, coating the entire bazaar. I already said it, but this is Destiny. The remains of the festival stands land in a heap, everything and everyone covered in a layer of rancid, foamy pumpkin ooze. Imaro drifted by, almost dancing through the air as he surveyed the destruction. "You see that? It was like a giant foamy screeb," he laughed. "Better than anything I could have imagined." "You did this?" Crow exclaimed, and Imaro tipped his hive shell toward him in response. "I just set the events in motion. Your little friends there finished the job. This sticky substance is amazing, by the way. No notes. Definitely worth the look on your faces right now," he cackled and floated away. "Happy Festival of the Lost, meatbags. Go piss off." "What a mess," Ido said. "The destruction of the Bazaar's festival's face is disheartening. The substance created in the explosion is, well, much stickier than we calculated. Not to mention the smell," Zavala said, covering his nose. "This is unbearable." Anna swiped a sample of the material from her shoulder. It's disgusting, but still just organic material. Maybe when I was performing some diagnostics on Archie the other day, I noticed a cleanup protocol buried in his subroutines. but I couldn't access the code. Maybe we could ask him to try it out here. What does he do with it? What does he do with it? Put everything in a pile? Eat it? Crow asked. Anna shrugged. Only one way to find out. Archie, would you be willing to run it? Archie barked and got to work. Alright. We shall soon see the finale, and... I think just to get the guaranteed engram, I'll do one more legend. I think that makes sense. Guess this will be the last thing in the events I do, or the last haunted sector I do this year. Most likely, yeah. Yeah, almost certainly at this point. I'm not gonna get to do anything tomorrow morning. It has actually, like, genuine... I'm probably gonna say this and jinx myself on RNG on the engram polls later. But, despite the whole copy-paste event thing, I actually have really enjoyed grinding this one this year.
Most people think they were hallucinations, but some think they were.
The Lost Memento grind has actually been really nice because it's like, oh, there's actually something to get now. And I know it's like quite literally the same problem that Destiny had for a while. Destiny 2 specifically had for a little while, where it's like, oh, you have to pick shaders up off the ground. Back in those days. But it's been really nice having something to go after. Like, literally the only thing that kind of makes it not as enjoyable as it could be is the fact that you can't stack them in your inventory. So the second you get one, you have to go put it on something before you can get another one, and just be careful not to spam your engrams. So I think after this event, I think it should be seriously considered that making these able to be stacked should definitely be considered. It doesn't even... I don't even want, like, a high number. I just want it to be a tangible, stackable number. Like, I'll take 5, even. Oh, a really good... Wait, are there 2 Banner Titans? It's 1. There are 2 Banner of War Titans. Let's go! Oh, this is awesome! We do it! This is great! This is what I've been missing the whole time. Oh my god! Oh, this was a good decision. This is a great decision. I'm just gonna try and stick with them. You two are great. You keep doing what you're doing. I like you. Oh, look at them go. Go to me! Let's get that engram. They're even... I just realized they're even weakening him, too. They know exactly what they're doing. They've got Tractor on, I think. That's really good. Oh. There we go. That's the first time running a legend tonight that I actually killed a champ. Banner of War is okay. It's perfectly balanced. Nothing wrong with it. Thanks, Joe. Obviously, we have to see how well the boss goes, but right now, I'm glad that this is the last one. This is great. It's going so well. I bet all of these kills are extending both of their banners, too. I had a feeling it was over here next. They're so good! They're killing it! They're killing everything! This is awesome! And I'm helping. Oh, wonderful. This is the only time that I'm grateful that this Lost Sector is the only one that has this weird problem with the spawn speed of these things. Usually they're spawning multiple at a time. But sometimes in this one specifically, they just don't. I'm really grateful that it's not this time. This might be the one time that I Whoop! Oh, we melted him too. I think we might get 9. If another one spawns, we'll see. My chaos reach is so little damage in comparison to what these two are doing with Banner. Oh, let's see. We might get another one. This is awesome. Oh yeah, he's dead. Just in time, too. Get away.
The magic that powers these summoning circles probably comes from a mighty Hive boss. Find them and take them down, Guardian.
Oh my
before we end up with
god.
pumpkin heads ourselves.
I don't know what that circle
That's
summons,
Alpha.
but let's find out.
Oh no, I'm alone. Oh no, that's bad. I'm not as confident anymore. No confidence. Yes. Ah, let me put the rift down. Yes. There's another one. Oh, did they fall down? What? Oh. No, I picked it up. Where is she? Back here? Let's go again! Oh, he doesn't have banner up. Let's fix that. Oh no. No! One of them died! Oh, I was gonna come back for him. Oh, that curve went crazy to get up to him. Like, I accidentally shot it, like, way too far away, and it just corrected so much. Get me out! Get me out! I don't want to be in here! No, not the tangle! Where is she? Let me see her. I want it to end! I didn't die. Miraculously, I didn't die. Well, that was a great way to end that.
Cliff suspects that the Headless Ones were created by Hive sorcery.
GG,
I
you
doubt his
two.
conclusions.
You
It's
two
a
were
hard
great.
sell, crab cakes. They look an awful lot like Hive wearing fancy masks to me.
Alright.
Exactly my point.
I got exactly
Donning masks for cosmetic
10...
purposes is not a Hive custom.
Got exactly
Which is
10
why I
engrams here.
suspect it was human sorcery that created the
Alright.
Headless Ones.
I'm gonna give these two their commendations. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to turn these engrams in before I read the final entries. And then I will end on me reading those, I think. Okay, you're best dressed for sure. And you gave me great joy. You two were awesome. You're putting in the work. Oh, I think he left. Oh, they're both gone. Yep, they're both gone. Oi. Well, now is the moment of truth. Was any of it worth it? I really hope I get at least one. I just want one more. Oh man, the end is definitely approaching. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Had a slight technical hiccup there. I think it's good now. Hold up. I'll check it again in a second. The stream is very far behind. Oh, that looked weird. Yeah, sometimes my cable will just disconnect itself. Which means I have to redo the audio settings, unfortunately. Okay, here we go again. Slight technical hiccup there, I think. Okay, got it. Got it all sorted. I just need to not do that again. Yeah, sometimes if I just move the controller, which strangely, it will just disconnect itself, like just long enough to be annoying. Man, I don't know what I was saying before I did that. Oh, and I finally saw how long the stream has been going. It's like, we're gonna hit 3.5 hours, possibly.
Thank you.
That's a pretty good length, I think.
Guardian,
You shouldn't have anything.
Your return honors
My
you,
engrams are
Guardian.
full of something you can't even give me. Alright. Eva, I'm begging you.
let's see.
I'm begging you, Eva. I need you to give me something good. And by something good, I mean mementos. Oh, yes. Okay.
Do try to keep those robes clean.
Okay, so here's now the real actual problem begins. I wasn't actually as prepared for this as I should have been. I want to put... Let's see. Okay, how about this? I'm going to pull some weapons. That I want to have some mementos on, or at the very least I'm going to pull one real quick that I know I want one on for sure, that I have not put one on yet. Where is... Okay. Send that over here to me. I don't think I put one on here yet. Yeah, I didn't. Let's go put one on Half-Truths, because I actually did start using it as an Eager Edge sword, and I've had a lot of fun with it, actually, whenever we have a moment where we are using it. I gotta say, going to the Morgith Bridge to get the chest, get the secret chest on the other side, has been really fun doing it on Hunter. I can't believe... It's always fun to look back on things in hindsight and go, man, I could have done this for actual years now, and I just never did. It's just so easy. Okay, need to lock that. I'm so glad the PS5 version loads as fast as it does. Oh my goodness. Alright. Alright, give me that. Yes. Alright. Been wanting to put one on there. That's awesome. Now let's go back to the tower and pull the rest, potentially. That's really good that the first one dropped one. Now, see, what I'm doing right now, this is the reason why this is so annoying. That these items don't stack in your inventory and you can't get any more if you have one. We've been saying it to them since they introduced this mechanic, but now that they've done this with the festival, with a seasonal event, that the intent is to grind even more, I really think they should change this. Make mementos stackable. Please. I know there's a lot going on at the Bungie studio, Bungie office, Bungie whatever it is now in this state, but please, stackable mementos.
Let's see.
Alright, next.
I could get you another if you
Alright.
like.
Uh-oh. It's happening. Oh no. Come on. Yes, okay. There's a second one.
Good luck, Guardian.
Good. I can't believe I almost just tried that. That would have been so bad. Alright, I'm gonna go put this in the vault. I don't have to send this back to another character. This is kind of an every character thing. If I wanted, I could just make 3 of them, but vault space and character inventory space is a little bit too precious. So, what next? There's a couple guns on my other characters I can pull. I've done a few of them. I put a few mementos on them already. Could do submission. I put one on this Ico Sniper and I think Callus Mini Tool as well. How about Throne Cleaver?
Nice.
Yeah, that one will work. Do that one next. Now that being said, oh, you You know, actually, now I'm worried I'm not gonna get another one after this, but then again, this is the only class sword I'm using, so it's not that big a deal. It'd be nice to have the full set, but at the same time, it's not too important that I stress it. RNG is still my worst nightmare. It's very unlikely that I will actually get another one. But if it does, great. If it doesn't, oh well. I actually do want to see what this looks like real quick, because I haven't looked. Yeah, it's an obsidian sword. I'll take it. A big black sword. Nothing wrong with that. Big, dumb, black slab of metal. Come on. Come on. Don't be shy. Wait. What do you mean? I can only reshape it if I'm using the Oh. Ah, hell. That's a little weird. Alright. Alright, fine, Bungo. That's right, you are Bungo right now. That's how I feel. I'm sending that back. And now I'm going to... Now I'm gonna get... Actually, let me check the Hunter. Could put... I did put one on Drang. Oh, that would be a waste. I don't want to put one on any of the, any of the Vow weapons, actually, that I have crafted, aside from Lubre, which I have already done. I think that's the only really good-looking one, but at the same time, may never get this chance again. Actually, how about this? The Deep Stone weapons look pretty good. Yeah, that'll work. That looks fine. This could be the last one, but that's fine. Alright. Don't have enough levels to actually put it on, but it is on there. So I can level it up at some point or another. If I had the resources, I'd just pump them into him right now, but I do not. And I also just don't have the time. I will send that back in a moment. How many engrams do I have left now? Oh, I still have 4. I thought I had 3. Alright. Let's see if... on these last 4. Or let's see if the exact opposite happens and I get nothing. Oh boy, not a good start. Uh-oh. No, don't do this! No! Well, that's it. That's all she wrote.
I do enjoy your visits.
Well, that sucks. But, what can you do? I got 2? Yeah, I got 2.
Any
I
questions?
believe, yeah. At least I got any. I would be way more upset if I got none after all that.
I missed you all so much.
Alright, I'm sending... that succession back to the... what? Oh, what do you mean not found? Come on. I'll be having none of that right now. I'm just gonna put it in the vault and send it over to him later. Because if I don't do this now, I'll forget.
Live to see the darkness return.
And I guess now I'll just give Eva all the candy I've got left. Oh wait, wrong page. Okay.
Wonderful.
I have... oh, nice. I have just enough for 2 of these. That's it.
Do try to keep those robes clean, dear.
Actually has been pretty enjoyable to grind this event out this time. Not to say that it isn't fun anytime. I actually do really like this event.
Good luck.
I understand if some people don't.
Hello.
It's not... obviously, it's not for everyone. But I enjoy it, and I definitely enjoyed it a lot this time as well. But before we log off, there's one last thing that we must do. Let's finish the lore. With Chapter 31. Deep in the bowels of one of Spider's warehouses, he gripped the neck of a warehouse worker. So tell me something. When the rule no stealing was explained to you, which part did you not understand? The worker struggled against Spider's grips. I didn't steal the candy. You know what's worse than stealing from me? Lying to me about it, Spider snarled. I'll have you. He stopped suddenly, sniffing the air, and immediately dropped the worker as his gag reflex kicked in. What's that smell? He looked up only to see a barrage of brightly colored foam and rancid pumpkin rain down on his head. Aw, man. Trick or treat. Piece of garbage. As Crow and Zavala made their way through the Elixni Quarter, they passed a cluster of young Elixni gathered around a mechanical dog. One hatchling ran forward and stopped short in front of Zavala, her forearms full of candy. She looked up at him and cheered with delight. A chuckle escaped Zavala's lips, and he was surprised by his own sudden smile. Crow waved him on, and they eventually found themselves in front of a small but impressive workshop. A spare set suspended in a lift, thrusters removed, and Elixni tinkered beneath. It's coming along, Crow called out. The teenage mechanic jerked in surprise and hit her head on the sparrow. She muttered an Elixni phrase under her breath, probably a swear. Itzelos, who taught you such curse talk? Neek chided as... oh, Jesus, I'm in alien language again. Itzelos, who taught you such curse talk? Neek chided as she rounded the corner. You did, Itzelos replied with a grin. Very likely. Come, greet our guest. That's a great response. Who taught you this? You did. Ah. Yeah, that makes sense. That is very likely. Neek and her sister, Itzelos. This is Commander Zavala, Crow said. Itzelos? That's a unique name, Zavala said. Neek slung 2 arms around her younger sister. Standard Elixni would not do this for one. Wait. Standard Elixni would not do for this one. Okay. Itzelos pushed her arms away, earning a laugh from Neek. Zavala nodded. A pleasure to meet you both. We don't want to keep you, but... well, there's something I wanted to deliver personally to you today. He held up a small, unsuspecting toolbox. Neek's eyes went wide and she gasped. I knew I recognized the name Neek. Neek's Amanda's assistant. Amanda's instructions were to share them with someone who has machinery on the brain and oil in their veins. We couldn't think of anyone more fitting, Neek, than you, Crow explained. Neek accepted the gift, and Zaval held out an item wrapped in cloth toward Izelas. And from what Crow has told me about you, I'm sure Amanda would want you to have this. Izelas unwrapped the cloth, revealing a well-loved spanner. She tenderly touched the initials graved on the tool, then hugged it to her chest. Commander, I would like to know her, as you knew her. Will you share her stories? There are Servitor's Hollow recordings. We could together watch, Neek said, and motioned for the two Guardians to come inside. Would you like some tea? Oh, this is so precious. The amazing stories you have just experienced are now a part of Elixni record. You may not believe any of them to be true, but if you do, know that you are in good company with those who have lived to tell these tales. The universe is an enigma, wild and mysterious, full of horrors and terrors and temptation. But go where others are tremulous to tread, step beyond your senses, and embrace the unknown. For only then will you discover new truths and new adventures. But only if you dare. Ethax, House of Light. I don't know who that Ethax is. That's not a name I recognize. That was I appreciate a fun read every now and then. Oh, Jesus, Rogue. Good. I think this was the better Festival of the Lost Lore book. I like that it was like technically one continuous story this time around. I don't think that was the case the previous times. It was a bunch of smaller stories. Well, it's not technically true, but kinda. But I think I'm glad that Archie just got some love. Oh, both a couple of good boys. But yeah, I actually had a really good time doing this today. I'm glad I finally did it. I was worried I wasn't gonna get to do it for a while. I delayed it like 2 or 3 different times. I almost want to say 4. But yeah, I had a really fun time. I'm glad I got it done. I actually did it in a reasonable amount of time, too. It's only like past 11 here, I think. I'll see. I'm gonna go see if Brian and Ethan are doing anything. Or if they're still available. But other than that, I'm good here. You know, I just remembered. Only just now remembered that Callus and Zerg are both labeled as Emperors. So this little outfit worked a lot better than I thought it did. But yeah, this has been fun. I had fun doing this. I don't know when I'll play Destiny again next. It might be before the season ends, but if not, it will definitely be when the next season starts. Stuff at Bungie, still not great, but maybe we can make the most. We can make the most out of a bad situation. I'm here to see it through. Thanks for watching.